Chapter 350. Yi Xiaoya quickly entered the state of cultivation. She silently meditated on the bed. As for Xiao Chen, because he didn't take any medicine today, he felt that he was too cute, so he simply went to sleep. Time passed, minute by minute, second by second. The Zheng family's courtyard became quiet. The trial takers were all preparing for tomorrow's challenge. They were all conserving their energy, but there were two people who were excited. In Leng Youxiang's room, Li Shanying was also there. The two of them were drinking to their heart's content. Martial artists were not afraid of alcohol, and both of them were experts. Therefore, after Li Shanying returned from the hotel, he found a random roadside shop and bought some cooked food like duck neck king and some beer. While the two of them were celebrating their alliance, they were also quietly waiting for the arrival of the 2:45 in the morning. "Hey, are you okay?" Yi Xiaoya went to bed and turned off the light. She glanced at Xiao Chen and asked, "What can be wrong? Why do you always hope that something will happen to me?" Xiao Chen said with some depression, "I'm fine." "Well, then I'm going to cultivate. What about you?" Yi Xiaoya confirmed that Xiao Chen was fine, so she said, "I'm going to sleep." Xiao Chen said, "Cultivation doesn't matter for a while. It's useless to cram at the last minute. You are clearly being lazy. Cultivation is like rowing a boat against the current. If you don't move forward, you will fall back. How can you relax because of tomorrow's challenge? I really don't know where your strength comes from." Yi Xiaoya said with dissatisfaction. "I can cultivate in my sleep." Xiao Chen said, "Okay, if there's nothing else, I'm going to sleep." As he said this, Xiao Chen pulled the quilt and covered him. "Hey, you're a strange person. You even wear a mask when you sleep? Don't you feel uncomfortable? It's fine if you wear a mask when you eat and drink, but you still wear it when you sleep? Are you so ashamed to see people?" Yi Xiaoya really didn't understand what Xiao Chen meant by doing this. Although the mask also had a mouth, it wasn't convenient to eat or drink. Of course, Yi Xiaoya tolerated it. "But you sleep with a mask on, aren't you tired? Everyone has their own secrets." Xiao Chen said, "Well, it's good that you know I'm your partner, White Fox." "All right." Yi Xiaoya nodded. Xiao Chen was right. Everyone had their own secrets. There was no need for her to investigate. Even now, there were many things that she had not told Xiao Chen. Yi Xiaoya quickly entered the state of cultivation. She silently meditated on the bed. As for Xiao Chen, because he didn't take his medicine today, he felt that he was too cute, so he directly fell asleep. Time passed, minute by minute, second by second. The Zheng family's courtyard became quiet. The trial takers were all preparing for tomorrow's challenge. They were all conserving their energy, but there were two people who were excited. In Leng Youxiang's room, Li Shanying was also there. The two of them were drinking to their heart's content. Martial artists were not afraid of alcohol, and both of them were experts. Therefore, after Li Shanying returned from the hotel, he found a random roadside shop and bought some cooked food like duck neck king and some beer. While the two of them were celebrating their alliance, they were also quietly waiting for the arrival of the 2:45 in the morning. Cheers. Li Shanying was very happy. On one hand, he could rope in Ouyang Tang. On the other hand, he could use the opportunity to kill White Fox to form a relationship with Leng Youxiang. He was the president of the Future Warrior Guild. Like the demon sect master, they were both people who stood at the peak of martial arts. The two of them supported each other and improved together. Maybe they would reach the top together, 1:45. Xiao Chen was sleeping soundly. All of a sudden, he felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. In his dream, he was hugging Miss Su on his left and Shen Jingxian on his right. Tang Tang was massaging his back from behind, and Jean Bebe was *****ing him. What kind of weird dream was this? However, when Xiao Chen was having a good time, he suddenly felt as if a bucket of cold water had fallen on him. He felt like he was being challenged by an ice bucket Yi Xiaoye was cultivating when she suddenly felt a bone-chilling cold energy spreading in the room. She was startled. Someone's here to attack us? She thought. It didn't seem like it. No one came. What was that? Yi Xiaoye looked in the direction of Xiao Chen. With the bright moonlight outside the window, Yi Xiaoye saw that Xiao Chen's quilt was emitting a ghastly chill. What happened to White Fox? Yi Xiaoye was shocked. She suddenly thought of something. She thought of Leng Youxiang's wrath of frigid Yin. It was said that those who were affected by the wrath of frigid Yin would be attacked at 1:45 in the middle of the night. They would be trapped in an iceberg and couldn't get out of it. In less severe cases, they would be tortured to death and their strength would be greatly reduced. In more severe cases, they might even die directly. White Fox. Yi Xiaoye jumped out of bed in a hurry and came to Xiao Chen's bed. However, the aggressive chill made her shiver involuntarily. It was too cold. Yi Xiaoye could guarantee that the temperature in the room was over -20 degrees Celsius. Around Xiao Chen, the temperature should be approaching -30 degrees Celsius. Xiao Chen was so cold that his teeth were chattering. He had already woken up from his sleep. However, he was so cold that he couldn't speak. His whole body was numb as if he was frozen. He couldn't open his eyes, his mouth, and his body couldn't turn around. Yi Xiaoye was shocked when she saw Xiao Chen's condition. She lifted the quilt on him and suddenly realized that the quilt had been frozen like a popsicle. She didn't know where the water vapor came from, but the quilt was wet and hard. Yi Xiaoye opened a lid and the quilt fell to the ground with a "pa" sound. It was as if something hard had fallen on the ground. "Hey, White Fox, are you okay? Don't scare me, okay?" Yi Xiaoye turned pale with fright. She was very worried. Putting aside the fact that she and White Fox had developed a tacit understanding and their friendship was deep, White Fox was completely affected by Yi Xiaoye. Leng Youxiang was targeting Yi Xiaoye, and White Fox was an innocent victim. Xiao Chen felt like he was about to freeze to death. His mind was already numb. He understood that the cold Yin devil qi that Leng Youxiang had injected into his body was starting to act up. He didn't pay much attention to it before, but who would have thought that it would be so overbearing when it acted up? Seeing that Xiao Chen's body was becoming more and more stiff, Yi Xiaoye was a little anxious. She was standing at the side. She couldn't even withstand the cold Yin devil qi that Xiao Chen was releasing, let alone Xiao Chen himself. Even if he didn't die, he would be frozen into a cripple. Yi Xiaoye was immediately at a loss. She wasn't an alchemist, so she didn't know how to resolve the cold Yin devil qi in Xiao Chen's body. She even wanted to beg Leng Youxiang, but she knew that it was impossible. Leng Youxiang wanted this to happen. If he could let Xiao Chen go, then he wouldn't have used such a vicious move. What to do, what to do? Yi Xiaoye was anxious. She touched Xiao Chen's body temperature, which was getting colder. It was already -40 to 50 degrees Celsius. If this continued, how could he endure it? Thinking of this, Yi Xiaoye had no other choice. She could only make a desperate attempt. She was a fire attribute devil cultivator. She circulated her mantra, wanting to use the heat from her mantra to alleviate Xiao Chen's current condition. Yi Xiaoye used all her strength to circulate the mantra, but the effect was minimal. After all, she was only standing beside Xiao Chen. The heat from her body was dissipating too quickly. Before it could be transferred to Xiao Chen, it had already dissipated. This wasn't a solution. Because Yi Xiaoye realized that she couldn't even soften Xiao Chen's clothes. This was because a layer of ice had already formed on Xiao Chen's clothes. She didn't know where the water vapor came from, but it was probably from Xiao Chen's body. Yi Xiaoye had no other choice. She gritted her teeth and directly climbed onto Xiao Chen's bed, lying beside Xiao Chen. Although it was inappropriate for men and women to touch each other, she had no other choice. Saving people was more important, so how could she care so much? Moreover, the two of them were still wearing clothes. Yi Xiaoya tried her best to let her back lean against Xiao Chen's back. She circulated her mantra again, but after a moment, Yi Xiaoya sadly discovered that it was completely useless. The heat from her body hadn't been transmitted to Xiao Chen's body. It had already been absorbed by the layer of ice on his clothes. It couldn't be transmitted. Not only that, Yi Xiaoya's clothes were also frozen by the cold air from Xiao Chen's side. It looked like it was about to freeze. Could it be that I have to take off my clothes? Yi Xiaoya really didn't want to do that. Firstly, she wasn't that familiar with the man named White Fox in front of her. Secondly, she was also engaged. She was the devil sect's sacred lady. How could she lose her chastity in advance? However, another voice kept urging in Yi Xiaoya's ear. He's like this because of you. You actually didn't save him and hesitated. Are you going to bite the hand that feeds you? Forget it. Anyway, I'm just taking off Xiao Chen's clothes, not taking off my own clothes. Moreover, the two of us have no other relationship. I'm just saving him. I'm innocent. Thinking of this, Yi Xiaoya gritted her teeth. She exerted force and tore off all the clothes and pants on Xiao Chen's body. Because these clothes had frozen stiff, it was impossible to take them off. She could only use force. However, Yi Xiaoya wanted to keep Xiao Chen's underwear. Who would have thought that with such force, with a rip, Xiao Chen's underwear was also brought down? Because the underwear and pants had frozen and stuck together, it couldn't be separated at all. Yi Xiaoya was suddenly stunned. However, she was only stunned for a moment. It was impossible for her to let Xiao Chen wear it back. Firstly, there was no time. Secondly, she couldn't wear it back at all. Besides, it was dark at night. She couldn't see clearly. Yi Xiaoya gritted her teeth and hugged Xiao Chen from behind. She began to continue to circulate the mantra. Cold air surged out from Xiao Chen's body. The cold air entered Yi Xiaoya's body through her clothes. Yi Xiaoya sadly discovered that the heat in her body was dissipating very quickly. Chapter 351. It almost didn't penetrate Xiao Chen's clothes before it was blocked by the cold air that stuck to his clothes. No matter what barrier there was between the two of them, it would become a nightmare for heat transfer. There was no other reason. Xiao Chen's body was emitting water vapor. In this way, the cotton things in the middle would absorb the water vapor and then freeze. Yi Xiaoya's heat had to melt these layers of ice again and again, and then these layers of ice would freeze again and again. This made Yi Xiaoya feel like crying. It took her so much effort to melt the ice on her clothes, but it was immediately frozen by Xiao Chen. Damn White Fox, can't you wait for a while before emitting the cold air? Yi Xiaoya was furious, but she also knew that this couldn't be blamed on Xiao Chen at all. This was because this was the side effect of the cold rage. Seeing that Xiao Chen was frozen stiff, it was estimated that he would freeze to death after a long time. Yi Xiaoya gritted her teeth and planned to take off her clothes. However, just as she was about to undo the buttons, she was shocked to find that the buttons of her clothes couldn't be undone at all. They were frozen together and couldn't be moved. Yi Xiaoya was speechless. If she knew this would happen, she wouldn't have thought so much and just took off her clothes to help Xiao Chen warm up. Now, she couldn't even take off her clothes. She could only forcefully pull them down. Just like Xiao Chen's clothes previously, they were directly torn apart and thrown on the ground. In the end, Yi Xiaoya became naked all of a sudden. She usually didn't like to wear a bra, so she could only use a tube top. In the end, the tube top and the previous clothes were stuck together, and they were pulled down together. Yi Xiaoya's eyes widened. She hesitated for a long time, but when she saw Xiao Chen's painful expression, she couldn't bear to give up just like that. So, she gritted her teeth and ignored everything else. She hugged Xiao Chen's body and stuck close to him. Although Xiao Chen could not speak, he was actually awake. His divine sense perception was also normal. It was just that his body was frozen stiff and unable to move, so when Yi Xiaoya came close to him, he could not react even if he wanted to. In fact, Xiao Chen wanted to stop Yi Xiaoya's actions. After all, if she did that, he would be entangled with Yi Xiaoya in the future. How could he face it? He felt that he should be able to cope with it. Although the cold in his body was threatening, Xiao Chen could still withstand it. He had only lost the ability to move, but not to the extent of losing his life. However, Yi Xiaoya was already closing in on him. Although it was incomparably cold, Xiao Chen was still very excited when he felt the softness behind him. Yi Xiaoya didn't have the mood to think about such trivial matters. She circulated her mental cultivation method incantation and began to continuously transmit the fiery demonic aura produced by her body into Xiao Chen's body. This time, without the obstruction of clothes, Yi Xiaoya's fiery demonic aura directly entered Xiao Chen's body through Xiao Chen's acupoints. Under the guidance of Xiao Chen's body's yuan qi, it rapidly converged with the cold demonic aura and tangled together. Hence, there were two types of demonic aura mixed in Xiao Chen's body. Under the guidance of yuan qi, they flowed everywhere. As for the remaining bit of demonic aura, it vanished into thin air under the impact of these three massive auras. As Yi Xiaoya constantly circulated her mental cultivation method incantation, the fiery demonic aura in Xiao Chen's body increased. Although Yi Xiaoya's strength was inferior to Leng Youxiang's and her demonic aura was clearly weaker than Leng Youxiang's demonic aura, it couldn't withstand the massive amount. In a short while, Yi Xiaoya's fiery demonic aura had actually become twice as strong as the cold demonic aura. Hence, the two types of demonic aura, one hot and one cold, became almost equal. They rapidly circulated in Xiao Chen's meridians, passed through his dantian, and then flowed back to the meridians in his body, repeating the cycle. However, what nearly caused Xiao Chen to collapse was that even though he had enough fiery demonic aura in his body, Yi Xiaoya was still sending it over endlessly. Was she trying to kill him? He had just gotten rid of the cold demonic aura, and now there was the fiery demonic aura. The cold demonic aura would at most freeze him into a block of ice, but wouldn't the fiery demonic aura burn him? However, Xiao Chen was currently fighting with the two types of demonic aura. His body had not thawed yet, so he couldn't speak. He could only endure it bitterly. After all, if he didn't get rid of the cold demonic aura, he would still shiver. Forget it. Xiao Chen thought that at most, he would get Leng Youxiang to give him more of the cold demonic aura tomorrow and then neutralize it. Right now, he had to solve the problem in front of him first. After about 3 hours of fusion, Xiao Chen felt that the cold demonic aura and the fiery demonic aura in his body had merged together. Then, they gradually turned into his yuan qi and were absorbed by his dantian. He didn't know if it would be beneficial to his leveling up and solidifying his strength, but it could be considered as temporarily resolving the crisis in front of him. I don't need to send any more demonic aura. Xiao Chen said. He realized that the fiery demonic aura in his body was increasing. It was even greater than the amount of cold demonic aura from before. Ah! Yi Xiaoya was shocked. She wanted to get up, but she realized that she wasn't wearing anything, so she lay down again. She only slightly pulled away from Xiao Chen and said, Don't turn around. Okay. Xiao Chen quickly replied. In fact, he really wanted to turn around and look at Yi Xiaoya or hug her. However, Xiao Chen was also very rational. If he got involved with the demon sect Saintis, he would be in big trouble. Now that his father had disappeared, he didn't know where he went, and he didn't know why the people behind the scenes wanted to deal with him. If he caused trouble for him, wouldn't he be looking for trouble? What's more, Yi Xiaoya saved him. How could he repay her kindness with ingratitude? Therefore, Xiao Chen decisively did not turn around. Yi Xiaoye was relieved. She quickly got up and returned to her own bed. Then, she pulled the quilt on her body and wrapped her whole body. Then, she said, "Okay, White Fox, are you okay?" "I'm fine." Xiaochen said, "Xiaoye, thank you." She didn't think much about calling her Xiaoye. After all, her surname was Yi. No. No need. We are partners. If I am in danger, you will definitely sacrifice yourself to save me, right? Xiaochen breathed a sigh of relief. He was most afraid that Yi Xiaoye would have a psychological burden. At that time, she would ignore him or ask him to be responsible. But now it seemed that Yi Xiaoye was not like that. "I'm fine. Not only that, I feel that the demonic aura seems to have turned into my own demonic aura. I feel that I am about to break through. I have already touched the edge." "You are going to break through again? You can break through like this? Can the demonic aura be turned into your own? Really?" Yi Xiaoye was a little shocked. "Can you not be angry at me? I thought I was a genius. I didn't expect your speed of leveling up to be like a rocket. But tomorrow, I will face Leng Youxiang. It will be another fierce battle. I don't know if I can beat him." Xiaochen saw Leng Youxiang's power and was finally a little worried. "When the time comes, you can just refuse the challenge. Anyway, we are all from the demonic sections. There is no face." Yi Xiaoye said, "Right, you are not allowed to tell others about what happened just now. Also, you have to quickly forget about it." "Okay." Xiaochen nodded. "Don't worry, I won't talk about it. I'm going to cultivate. You can sleep by yourself." Yi Xiaoye had previously transferred demonic aura to Xiaochen. She had used up a lot of energy. She needed to recover, otherwise, her condition tomorrow would not be good. Xiaochen laid on the bed for a while. The sky was bright and he couldn't sleep anymore. He wanted to get up but suddenly remembered that he was not wearing any clothes. Thinking of this, Xiaochen looked down and saw the two people's torn clothes on the ground. He suddenly did not know whether to laugh or cry. "This. How do I get out?" Xiaochen was about to ask Yi Xiaoye what to do when suddenly there was a knock on the door. "Who is it?" Xiaochen picked up the torn clothes on the ground and covered his body. Then, he walked to the door and asked. "Brother White Fox, it's me, Shen Jingmao. I brought you some breakfast." Shen Jingmao's voice came from the door. "Oh, it's Jingmao." Xiaochen glanced at Yi Xiaoye, who was a little nervous under the quilt. So, he opened the door slightly and took the breakfast that Shen Jingmao handed in. Then, he thought about it and said, "Jingmao, do me a favor. Help me buy 2 sets of clothes." "Ah. Buy clothes? Okay, what kind of clothes?" Shen Jingmao asked curiously. Xiaochen picked up Yi Xiaoye's clothes on the ground and looked at the sizes one by one. Then, he told Shen Jingmao the size of his clothes and Yi Xiaoye's clothes. "That's it, a man and a woman." "Ah, okay. Then, Big Brother White Fox, wait for me." Shen Jingmao nodded and left. "You let your girlfriend's brother buy clothes for me? What are you thinking?" When Shen Jingmao left, Yi Xiaoye suddenly said angrily. Previously, in front of Shen Jingmao, she couldn't say it. "This." Xiaochen was stunned and smiled bitterly. He didn't think so much before. It was impossible to call Shen Jingmao back at this time, and Xiaochen didn't have Shen Jingmao's phone number. Besides, even if he called back, what could he say? Say don't tell your sister. Shen Jingmao looked at the pieces of clothes in Xiaochen's hands. He thought to himself, brother-in-law is really crazy. He broke the clothes just once. But, should I tell my sister? After thinking for a long time, Shen Jingmao decided to tell his sister. After all, he was on the same side as his sister.
He must let his sister know about the White Fox hero's movements. Otherwise, how could his sister fight for his favor? Thinking of this, Shen Jingmao dialed his sister, Shen Jingshuan's phone number. Jingmao. Why are you calling me so early in the morning? Shen Jingxian talked so much with Qing Menjing last night. She was in a daze and wanted to sleep a little longer. Anyway, it was the weekend. She didn't expect Shen Jingmao's call.
Chapter 352. Sister. Brother White Fox and the female demonic cultivator were quite crazy yesterday. Shen Jingmao said. What's crazy? Shen Jingxian was stunned. That is, they tore each other's clothes, then Brother White Fox asked me to buy clothes for them. Shen Jingmao said. What? Shen Jingxian was stunned. Xiao Chen, didn't he say that there was nothing going on between him and his partner? Why did the two of them tear their clothes? Shen Jingxian didn't need to think to know what would happen if they tore their clothes. Didn't she and Xiao Chen tear their clothes too? Shen Jingxian instantly felt wronged. It's fine if you fooled around outside, but you can't lie to me, right? Yesterday you said there was nothing going on, but today you tore your clothes? Who would believe that? If Shen Jingmao hadn't been of one mind with her and called to inform her, she would still have been kept in the dark. Sister, how's the progress between you and Brother White Fox? Don't lose to others. Shen Jingmao didn't see Shen Jingshuan's expression, and he even reminded her. Oh, okay, I got it. Shen Jingxian didn't want to show anything in front of her brother. Alright, I'll go buy clothes. Shen Jingmao thought it was good that his sister knew what to do, so he went to buy clothes. Shen Jingxian picked up her phone and sent a message to Xiao Chen, who are you in the same room with? Xiao Chen looked at Shen Jingshuan's message and couldn't help but smile bitterly. He replied, it's Yi Xiaoya, you know her too. There's nothing going on between us, but there was an accident yesterday, Yi Xiaoya? You're really good. Shen Jingxian looked at the message and almost smashed her phone. It's actually Yi Xiaoya. If it was someone else, she might be suspicious, but Yi Xiaoya lived in the same villa with Xiao Chen every day. Since Xiao Chen could fool around with her behind Qing Menjing's back, he could also fool around with Yi Xiaoya secretly. If I don't do it with you, you'll find someone else, right? Xiao Chen, fine, then go find her. Don't look for me forever. Shen Jingxian was angry that she was cheated. She sent this message and turned off her phone. Xiao Chen, on the other hand, was shocked. He thought to himself that this was a huge misunderstanding. He quickly called Shen Jingshuan's phone, but the phone was turned off. Xiao Chen felt very helpless. Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiao Chen, who was a little anxious. She picked up the phone and put it down. She was a little amused. However, it had nothing to do with me. At most, it would be a misunderstanding, but Xiao Chen's trouble would be huge. Your girlfriend isn't picking up the phone, right? Yi Xiaoya said with a gloating tone. What are you so happy about? Be careful that I don't rely on you. My girlfriend is gone, and I'll take you as my girlfriend. Xiao Chen said, speaking of which, your figure is quite good. I didn't notice it usually. If you're not afraid of being chased by the demon gate, then do whatever you want. Yi Xiaoya rolled her eyes at Xiao Chen. I really don't know what you men are thinking. I'm saving you, and you're still talking about that. I'm just kidding. Xiao Chen said, my girlfriend is fine. I'll explain it later. Shen Jingxian put down the phone and glanced at Qing Menjing, who was sleeping beside her. She couldn't help but sigh. Tears slid down her delicate and beautiful face. She didn't expect Xiao Chen to be like this. Then, did he do it with Yi Xiaoya before? Then, he told me that it was his first time. Was he lying to me? Shen Jingxian felt that Xiao Chen was lying to her, which made her very uncomfortable. Jingxian, why are you crying? Cheng Menjing heard movement beside her and woke up in a daze. When Shen Jingxian was talking on the phone, she was still a little confused. Now she was completely awake. Seeing Shen Jingxian crying, Cheng Menjing suddenly became energetic. She immediately asked with concern, Are you still concerned about that matter? It's nothing. I just had a scary dream. I dreamed that my boyfriend betrayed me. Shen Jingxian shook her head. Your current boyfriend? Cheng Menjing was stunned. Yeah, anyway, he just treats me as an ordinary lover, so it's not really a betrayal. Shen Jingxian said in a self-deprecating manner. Sure enough, men would become fickle when they had strength, and they would even lie. Originally, Shen Jingxian thought that Xiao Chen was different. Even if he was fickle, at least he wouldn't lie to her. But now it seemed that it was the same. He even said that he had a crush on her for many years. Humph, is this how you treat a goddess? Don't talk about F*King until you vomit, F*King once and you change your mind. Shen Jingxian found that she was a bit like a resentful woman. Jingxian, you are not bad. Even if, it's not that, but you are beautiful. Such a beautiful girl, anyone will be moved. Cheng Menjing comforted, otherwise, why do you think Xiao Chen doesn't like me but likes you? You are more charming. Don't mention that guy. Shen Jingxian said angrily, only to find that her mood seemed to be wrong, so she quickly explained, I don't want to mention any man now, okay. Cheng Menjing said, since you are up, let's have some breakfast. Aren't we going to see your man in the evening? I don't want to see him. Shen Jingxian said. Miss Cheng smiled. On Xiao Chen's side, Shen Jingmao quickly bought clothes and came back. Although there were not many shopping malls that opened early in the morning, Shen Jingmao obviously had his way. He gave the clothes to Xiao Chen and left without asking much. Xiao Chen looked at his back and thought, this kid is really talkative. However, thinking about it, I can't blame him. He is Shen Jingxuan's younger brother. If he doesn't work with Shen Jingxian, will he help me lie to Shen Jingxian? I will put on my clothes. You turn around. Don't peek. Yi Xiaoye was already really uncomfortable. She wrapped herself in the quilt. She couldn't even walk on the ground, let alone go to the bathroom. Okay. Xiao Chen said, let's both turn around. I will also put on my clothes. Then, are you sure you want to turn around? Don't turn around and peek when I turn around. Yi Xiaoye said. Am I that bad? Xiao Chen smiled bitterly and turned around first. The two of them put on their clothes. Yi Xiaoye was afraid that Xiao Chen would see, so she turned around very quickly. On the other hand, Xiao Chen was slow. He was also afraid that Yi Xiaoye would say that he was plotting something if he was too fast. Hey, are you dressed? Yi Xiaoye asked Xiao Chen. No, but you can turn around. I have put on my pants. I am missing my shirt. Xiao Chen said. Oh. Yi Xiaoye turned around and saw that Xiao Chen was really half-dressed. She was relieved and said, I will eat first. You quickly put on your clothes. For the whole day, Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoye didn't go out in the room. Yi Xiaoye was afraid that Xiao Chen would face Leng Youxiang and the others in advance, so she didn't let him go out. On the other hand, Shen Jingmao saw that Xiao Chen didn't go out for the whole day. He couldn't help but shake his head in disappointment. Although a martial artist's body was strong, he couldn't indulge in bed all day, especially when there was a challenge at night. What if Hero White Fox was still like this? What if he ran out of stamina? However, thinking that his father and others admired Hero White Fox so much, Shen Jingmao didn't say much, but his impression of White Fox became a little worse. In the evening, the challenge finally began. Although Shen Jingxian kept saying that she didn't want to go, she finally brought Cheng Menjing to the arena. Even Shen Jingxian didn't know what kind of mentality she had. Perhaps, she wanted to see how Yi Xiaoye was stronger than her. Isn't that Yi Xiaoye? Cheng Menjing was very sensitive to Yi Xiaoye. She saw Yi Xiaoye walking into the arena with White Fox. Shen Jingxian was thinking. When she heard Cheng Menjing's words, she was shocked. Then, she looked up and saw Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen followed behind Yi Xiaoye. The two of them were very close to each other, but if one didn't think about it carefully, one might not think that the two of them were in the same group. After all, there were others following behind Xiao Chen. Yi Xiaoye? It really is her. However, the person behind her is my boyfriend. Shen Jingxian pointed in the direction of Xiao Chen and said. The person wearing a mask? Why does he look weird? Why is he wearing a mask? Cheng Menjing noticed Xiao Chen behind Yi Xiaoye, but she was very puzzled by his appearance. In the martial arts arena, it couldn't be said that there were no masked people, but they only covered their faces with a black cloth, revealing their eyes. It was a bit strange to wear a fox mask directly. I don't know. Maybe there is some shameful secret? Shen Jingxian said, right, that Yi Xiaoye, is your relationship good? It's very bad. When Cheng Menjing talked about Yi Xiaoye, she gritted her teeth. You say that she is an outsider, but she is sick. She always protects Xiao Chen. I asked Xiao Chen to cook, and I asked Xiao Chen to do this and that. Xiao Chen wasn't unhappy, but she was the first one to explode. What does it have to do with her? She is really nosy. Oh. She and Xiao Chen have a good relationship? Shen Jingxuan's heart was tight. She thought that there was really something wrong with them. If there was no problem, why would Yi Xiaoye protect Xiao Chen? When she saw Yi Xiaoye before, Shen Jingxian felt that she was a cold person. Now she actually protected Xiao Chen. If there was no problem, Shen Jingxian wouldn't believe it. Isn't it good? I was bullied by Yi Xiaoye, but Xiao Chen didn't help. Yi Xiaoye always asked Xiao Chen to follow her and not to be my servant. Cheng Menjing said angrily, luckily, Beibei is here. Otherwise, would have lost every time. Xiao Chen seems to have a good relationship with Jin Beibei? Shen Jingxian asked calmly. Yes, the two of them have the same hobbies. They like to eat, they like to make money, and they like to trick people, Cheng Menjing said. They only like to eat delicious food all day. I really don't know what to say. Jin Beibei likes him? Shen Jingxian was a little angry. Is Jin Beibei also related to Xiao Chen? Chapter 353. Maybe a little, maybe not. It's hard to say. You know Beibei, he's crazy all the time, Cheng Menjing said, don't talk about Xiao Chen all the time. Tell me about your boyfriend. Cheng Menjing thought that Shen Jingxian was talking about her, Xiao Chen. She was embarrassed to say more, so she wanted Shen Jingxian to talk about her boyfriend. Oh, him, there's nothing to talk about. He's strong enough, and that's it. Just make do with him. If he can't, then we'll break up, Shen Jingxian said lightly. Cheng Menjing was a little strange about Shen Jingxuan's attitude, but after thinking about it, she guessed that Shen Jingxian didn't really like White Fox. She was just pressured by her family, so her words were understandable. Jingxian, why do I feel that you are so miserable? You are a goddess, and you should have a bit of a goddess's aura. You see, when I'm with Xiao Chen, he doesn't dare to disobey me. Cheng Menjing said proudly. He. Xiao Chen. How is it the same? Shen Jingxian didn't know what to say. She was afraid that if she said too much, they wouldn't be best friends anymore. Hey, isn't that Cheng Mengxiang and Xiao Xiao? Shen Jingxian turned her head and saw Cheng Menjing's younger brother and Xiao Chen's younger sister. These two people were somewhat related to her. Yeah, forget about them. Cheng Menjing also saw them, but her relationship with Cheng Mengxiang wasn't very good. But unexpectedly, Cheng Mengxiang walked over with Xiao Xiao and greeted Cheng Menjing with a smile. "Sister, you're here too. I thought you didn't like this kind of occasion." As the leader of the Cheng family in Songning, Cheng Menjing was naturally qualified to attend the summit. However, she had never cared about this kind of thing before. Cheng Mengxiang glanced at Shen Jingxian beside him and nodded as a greeting. "I'm here with Jingxian to see her boyfriend." "What's up?" Cheng Menjing and Cheng Mengxiang didn't know each other well. "It's nothing." Cheng Mengxiang shook his head. "Sister Jingxian has a boyfriend so soon?" "Huh, don't misunderstand, I heard a rumor earlier and was a little surprised." "Why are you so annoying? Why don't you just die?" Cheng Menjing looked at Cheng Mengxiang in disgust. "Why do you have to do everything? Don't talk about Meng Chang. You're not a good person either. Are you happy that you dumped my brother? Do you also want to find a boyfriend here and hug his thigh?" Xiao Xiao coldly looked at Cheng Menjing and said. "Huh, Xiao Xiao, no matter what, she's my sister. She's also your sister. Let's give in to her. Let's go." Cheng Mengxiang was very proud that Xiao Xiao was actually speaking to him. This woman is like this. Previously, she looked reluctant and kept comparing me with Qi Zhigao. Now, knowing that there's no suspense in marrying me, she began to side with me. It seemed that after the strength of the Cheng family that I showed in the past 2 days, Xiao Xiao had begun to admire me. This made Cheng Mengxiang very happy. Being able to capture Xiao Xiao's heart was much better than being with a cold and emotionless beautiful girl. "It's not up to you to talk about the matters between me and Xiao Chen." Cheng Menjing frowned. She didn't expect Xiao Xiao to be on the same side as her brother. They were equally annoying. She didn't know how Cheng Mengxiang brainwashed her. "Forget it, sister. We're all on the same side. Don't quarrel because of an outsider like Xiao Chen. Xiao Xiao and I will leave first." Cheng Mengxiang waved his hand and left. He sneered in his heart. "Bitch, do you really think that you're the daughter of the Cheng family? When I control the Cheng family in the future, you're nothing. You're just a pawn for me to control Chao Yuliang. A woman really thinks that she's important?" After Cheng Mengxiang left, Shen Jingxian frowned slightly. "That Xiao Xiao, is she speaking for Xiao Chen or Cheng Mengxiang?" "Cheng Mengxiang? Who knows? Forget about her." Cheng Menjing was a little angry. Cheng Mengxiang was getting more and more outrageous. He didn't care about his sister at all. Did he think that he was already the young master of the Cheng family? "Everyone, please be quiet. The Songning Summit is about to begin. Please take your seats." From the broadcast in the martial arts field, the preparatory sound of the summit was heard. Everyone in the field took their seats one by one. Shen Zhenghao also came. Seeing that his daughter was sitting with Cheng Menjing this time, he didn't come over. He looked up and saw that Medicine Master Lu was also here. He came alone and sat quietly in the audience seat. No one recognized him. This time, Shen Zhenghao was overjoyed and walked over quickly. "Old Lu, can I sit here?" Shen Zhenghao asked respectfully. "Oh, sit down." The seats next to Lu Fangzhen belonged to Medicine Master Chen and Hong Yan, but they were not in Songning City. But whether they were there or not, the summit's working group had to reserve seats for them. Therefore, the seats were all occupied. Shen Zhenghao only saw it clearly when he got closer. After seeing the name plate, he just asked casually. He didn't expect that Lu Fangzhen would really let him sit down. He was a little surprised, but very happy. "Thank you, old Lu." Lu Fangzhen nodded and didn't say anything else. "Old Lu, why are you here?" Shen Zhenghao tried to find something to talk about. "Oh, to see a friend participate in the challenge," Lu Fangzhen said lightly. LV Fangzhen said indifferently. He had already found out about Xiao Chen's other identity from Hongzhu, and had also found out that Xiao Chen had once been secretly in love with Shen Jingxian. Therefore, he didn't mind helping Xiao Chen build up momentum, because he also wanted to have a good relationship with Xiao Chen. He had gone back and researched for a long time, but he really couldn't understand it. How could someone die on a horse? In this kind of situation, he couldn't do it, and neither could Medicine Master Chen. Therefore, in his opinion, Xiao Chen should be a hidden master. However, there was no need to hide White Fox. If Shen Zhenghao took a fancy to White Fox, he would indirectly help Xiao Chen. I see. May I know who old Lu's friend is? Shen Zhenghao asked. He was good at currying favor. If old Lu's friend was from Songning City, he would find a way to make friends with him. Even if old Lu's friend didn't want to talk to him, he would still be polite. Oh, his name is White Fox. You may not know him, Lu Fangzhen said lightly. What? Shen Zhenghao was shocked and almost jumped out of his chair. Wasn't White Fox his son-in-law? How did he become friends with Lu Fangzhen? Lu Fangzhen looked at Shen Zhenghao strangely. He didn't understand why Shen Zhenghao had such a big reaction. I said that old Lu and I are fated. That White Fox is my daughter's boyfriend. Shen Zhenghao said with a smile. He couldn't help but sound proud. Lu Fangzhen was stunned again. He turned to look at Shen Zhenghao. You mean White Fox and your daughter? Boyfriend and girlfriend? Yes. Shen Zhenghao nodded. I didn't expect that he is also your friend, old Lu. You're 1 generation older than me. Lu Fangzhen suddenly laughed. Previously, he talked to Shen Zhenghao casually. He didn't want to have too much contact with him. However, after hearing about the relationship between Shen Jingxian and Xiao Chen, he suddenly became much more enthusiastic and even joked with him. I don't deserve that. Old Lu, you are a senior. In front of you, I am a junior. Moreover, I also call my daughter's boyfriend Hero White Fox. I don't dare to be disrespectful. Shen Zhenghao felt that he was going to make a fortune. How could he casually build a relationship with Lu Fangzhen? Although he also knew that Lu Fangzhen was most likely giving face to White Fox, at least he had the capital to brag when he went out. In the future, if he really needed help, he could directly ask Xiao Chen to ask Lu Fangzhen. I heard that you used your daughter as a bargaining chip to marry this person and that person? Lu Fangzhen asked. This is because I didn't meet such an outstanding young talent like Hero White Fox. Shen Zhenghao was a little embarrassed. He. Lu Fangzhen thought, you met him before. He pursued your daughter for several years, but you pretended not to see it. Old Lu, you and Hero White Fox. Shen Zhenghao asked carefully. He has a good relationship with my disciple. Lu Fangzhen said this and suddenly added, she is a female disciple. Oh. Shen Zhenghao was stunned, and then immediately felt that he understood. He quickly said, ahem. Hero White Fox has more than one girlfriend. There are others. It's okay. It's normal for people like old Lu to have multiple wives and concubines. I'm not married yet. Lu Fangzhen said. Puff. Ahem. Shen Zhenghao coughed twice. I'm sorry, old Lu. I was just making an example. Well, you're quite an interesting person. Lu Fangzhen nodded. If there's anything in the future, let White Fox look for me. Thank you so much. Shen Zhenghao trembled with excitement. If White Fox invited Lu Fangzhen during the Shen family's family meeting, as long as he said a few words of support for Shen Zhenghao, wouldn't there be no doubt that Shen Jingmao would be promoted? But, would he support Shen Jingmao? Even Hero White Fox might not agree with him, right? Sigh, I can only take it one step at a time. It all depends on whether my daughter is good enough. While they were chatting, the two elders from yesterday walked up to the high platform of the martial arts arena. Then, Elder Wang, who represented the righteous faction, said, "Now, the big screen will randomly pick the order of the two factions' challenges. All challengers, please take your positions. Now, everyone, please pay attention to the big screen. I'm going to start picking." After Elder Su finished speaking, he pressed a remote control in his hand. At this time, the big screen suddenly lit up and then split into two halves. One on the left and the other on the right, respectively, represented the qualification numbers of the righteous faction and the demonic faction. The numbers kept flashing back and forth. And the challengers in the arena held their breath at this moment. Chapter 354. Pa. The numbers on the screen stopped at challenger number 31 and 14. One of them was Ouyang Tang. Xiaofan didn't know the other, but Yi Xiaoya obviously knew him. He was from the demon sect. The strength of these two people is about the same. It's hard to tell who will win. Yi Xiaoya said, "The challenger from the demon sect is a disciple of the demon moon sect. He has some ties with our demon star sect. Although we are not familiar with him, I hope nothing happens to him. He. I guess he will win without a doubt," Xiaofan said indifferently. "What do you mean?" Yi Xiaoya was stunned. "You can tell? Both of them are challengers at the 5th stage of inner force. How can there be no suspense? Are you talking about Ouyang Tang or the Demon Moon sect?" "Of course it's the Demon Moon sect. Ouyang Tang will not win," Xiaofan said. Ouyang Tang was very arrogant. He directly leaped up and landed on the martial arts platform. He pointed at the Demon Moon sect disciple and said, "Either kneel and admit defeat, or die." The Demon Moon sect disciple's expression changed slightly. He was also a powerful existence among the younger generation of the Demon Moon sect. How could he swallow this insult? He shouted loudly. Demonic aura surrounded his body, revealing his strength as a demonic cultivator at the 5th stage of inner force. "Then let's give it a try." The Demon Moon sect disciple didn't hold back. He used his most powerful killer move, a cold moonlight kick at Ouyang Tang's chest. Ouyang Tang smiled faintly and stood still. Then, he circulated the mantra and prepared to activate his martial arts technique. On one hand, he used his inner force to protect his body. On the other hand, he pushed his hands out horizontally. He was ready to fight head-on with the Demon Moon sect disciple. The Ouyang family was good at frontal attacks. Their attack power was higher than ordinary opponents. Therefore, in Ouyang Tang's opinion, although he might be injured in such a head-on fight, the opponent would die immediately. He came with a pharmacist. As long as he won this battle, he would be famous in both the righteous and demonic sections. It would be beneficial for his future development. Even if he was injured, it was worth it. After all, there were not many opportunities to be in the limelight. But then, his expression changed. This was because he realized that there was something in his dantian that was not inner force. He didn't know what it was, but he just stood there and tried to use his inner strength, but he couldn't. His inner strength was blocked by it, and he couldn't use it at all. What was this thing? Why was there such a thing in his body? Of course, if he had operated the mental cultivation method of martial arts in advance last night and tried to use his inner strength, he would have discovered the problem. Unfortunately, he had invited Li Shannying to a banquet last night and was drunk. When he returned home, he fell asleep. How could he have had the time to practice martial arts? Of course, even if he practiced, he wouldn't be able to expel these strange things in a short period of time. As a martial artist, he had to constantly activate his martial skills and train in order to expel these strange things from his body along with his inner strength. This wasn't a job that could be done overnight, but at least he wouldn't be as passive as he was now. Ouyang Tang's expression was very ugly. He hesitated if he should beg for mercy, but this moment of hesitation had already missed a good opportunity to beg for mercy. The Demon Moon sect disciple's cold moonlight foot directly kicked Ouyang Tang's chest. Ouyang Tang couldn't use his inner strength to protect his body, nor could he activate his martial skills. He was kicked forcefully and immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. His body flew straight out of the martial arts arena and directly fell in front of the audience 30 meters away. He rolled a few times on the ground and stopped moving. Obviously, even if he didn't die, he would be a cripple. The audience in the boxing arena were all a little dumbfounded, including the two elders of the righteous and devil sects, as well as the two referees below. They were all a little dumbfounded. Even the disciples of the Devil Moon sect themselves were extremely stunned. Was there something wrong with Ouyang Tang? Not only did he not dodge, but he also did not defend or attack. He was just waiting for me to kick him down. Is there something wrong with his head? There was no need to say much about this kind of match that had no suspense at all. Hongzhu and Song Huawu both flashed the Demon Alliance victory sign. Elder Wang, who represented the righteous sects, announced, in this match, the Demon Moon sect disciple, Chen Aoran, who represents the Demon Alliance, wins. The Demon Moon sect disciple, Chen Aoran, raised his hands in confusion and accepted the applause from the audience. Then, he inexplicably left the martial arts arena and returned to his own position. Until now, he still didn't understand how he won so smoothly. Was his opponent so weak? How do you know that he will definitely win? Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiao Chen strangely. Yi Xiaoya guessed that Xiao Chen had secretly used some method. Just like in martial arts novels, some experts could help others through the air and transmit inner strength through the air. However, it seemed that even if Xiao Chen was a demonic cultivator at the peak of the 7th level of inner strength, he still couldn't do this, right? I did something yesterday. Xiao Chen lowered his voice and didn't hide anything. Yi Xiaoya had already been honest with him. Xiao Chen wouldn't hide anything if it didn't involve sensitive issues. At least, Yi Xiaoya was a reliable person. She wouldn't betray him. Otherwise, she wouldn't have made such a big sacrifice last night. That works too. Yi Xiaoya was a little speechless after hearing it. Then who do you want to kill? Just do something. It's simply killing without leaving a trace. I'll help you kill that Leng Youxiang in a while. Xiao Chen said. Don't. If you kill him, his sect won't let you go. Yi Xiaoya was shocked. If I don't kill him, he will kill me. Do you think that if I cripple him, he will let me go after he goes back? Asked Xiao Chen. Yi Xiaoya was a little silent. Indeed, even if Xiao Chen didn't kill Leng Youxiang wouldn't let Xiao Chen go. How about, just admit defeat directly? Okay, I'll ask him. If he admits defeat directly, I won't kill him. Xiao Chen nodded and said. Pfft. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you. Yi Xiaoya was a little speechless. Speaking of which, I'm going against their sect. Will you help me or help them? Asked Xiao Chen. Yi Xiaoya pursed her lips. I'm a very principled person. Help the demon sect to deal with me? Asked Xiao Chen. Aren't you also a demon cultivator? Yi Xiaoya glared at Xiao Chen. I won't abandon my partner. It's actually not that serious. Didn't they say that it starts at the summit and ends at the summit? If I kill him, their sect will have to consider the rules of the summit if they want to take revenge, right? There's the Hong Consortium of Commerce and the Supernatural Investigation Bureau here. No matter how powerful his sect is, they won't dare to go against us openly, right? Said Xiao Chen. They won't dare to do it openly, but who can guarantee that they won't do it in the dark? You won't leave Songning City for the rest of your life? Yi Xiaoya didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why is this person's thinking so simple? Moreover, these restrictions are only for a period of time. I guess they won't dare to do anything to you for the time being. After a while, when the news dies down, the next summit is going to be held. Who will care about the previous summit? Either you also participate in the next summit, and they will send people to take revenge on you at the next summit, or you don't participate, and they will find a chance to secretly take revenge. Oh, isn't that still a long time? Xiaochen didn't take it to heart after hearing it. The competition continued in an orderly manner. Except for the first challenge at the beginning, which was directly decided in one move, this kind of situation almost never happened after that. Even if there was a big difference in strength, it was after a few fights, and the one who was much weaker was defeated. The winner was king, and the loser was the thief. Ouyang Tang was beaten up, and soon, people forgot about him. Ouyang Tang was also carried back to the Ouyang family that night. In such a situation, he couldn't continue to participate in the competition. However, what Xiaochen didn't expect was that he actually received a text message from Zhu Yingxiong, "Boss, wow, it must be you who did it, right? Otherwise, how could Ouyang Tang, that idiot, stand on the martial arts stage and be beaten up? Thank you so much. Sure enough, killing people invisibly has nothing to do with us at all." Xiaochen didn't reply. Everyone knew it in their hearts, and there was no need to explain it too clearly. Only then did he remember that Zhu Yingxiong should also come with Yu Shanshan, but he didn't know if Yu Xiaochuan came. Xiaochen's guess was really right. Yu Xiaochuan also came. Their Songning Yu family was a branch of the Zhenwu Yu family. Naturally, they were qualified to participate in this summit and become the audience. Everyone else came in pairs. Although Yu Xiaochuan also came with Tang Tang, he and Tang Tang sat far away from each other. They weren't intimate at all, but he was very close to Yu Shanshan. Obviously, his sex change didn't affect his love for his sister, Yu Shanshan. Family love wouldn't be distorted, but his own sexual orientation was distorted. He now felt that he was Yu Shanshan's sister. As for Tang Tang, in his eyes, she was just a tool to maintain a secret. However, some words couldn't be revealed to Tang Tang. He was going to find an opportunity to tell Tang Tang to go out and have an affair, and make him wear a green hat or something. In this way, both of them would have a handle on each other, and the secret wouldn't be revealed. However, he also had to choose a good partner for this green hat. It needed to be a long-term stable woman who could bring him benefits and benefits. Otherwise, his wife would be like a bus, constantly fooling around, and it wouldn't look good for him. If he fixed one, it wouldn't be easy for the news to spread. Recently, Tang Tang had been wondering about Yu Xiaochuan's attitude toward her. He was neither cold nor warm. When he came out with her, it seemed to be a formal social interaction, and he didn't talk much to her at all. This made Tang Tang feel relieved, but she was also a little puzzled. What kind of play was Yu Xiaochuan playing? He spent so much effort to separate her from Xiaochen, and then he didn't say anything? Before, Tang Tang thought that Yu Xiaochuan was pretending, but now it seemed that he wasn't pretending. After all, he didn't want to be close to her at all. But anyway, Yu Xiaochuan was like this, so Tang Tang dared to come out with him. Otherwise, if he did something bad to her, Tang Tang would be disgusted to death. Chapter 355. She wondered how Xiaochen was doing recently. To be honest, she missed Xiaochen very much. However, the Tang family was very strict. When she was at home, there was a signal jammer in her room. She couldn't contact the outside world with her mobile phone. The internet was also shut down, and she couldn't use the computer to surf the internet. At home, she had nothing to do every day. Now that she finally came out, she was with Yu Xiaochuan. She couldn't call Xiaochen in front of him. In her opinion, Yu Xiaochuan had become very strange recently. If she contacted Xiaochen, Yu Xiaochuan would hurt Xiaochen if he did something bad to Xiaochen. She quietly watched the challenges on the martial arts arena. Although she didn't understand it, she just watched the fun. Pa! In the middle of the martial arts arena, the numbers on the big screen rotated again and stopped on number 43 and number 19. To Xiao Chen's surprise, one of them was Li Shanying. The other was Shen Jingshuan's younger brother, Shen Jingmao. The difference in strength between the two was very big. Li Shanying was a martial artist at the 7th stage of inner force, while Shen Jingmao was only a demonic cultivator at the 5th stage of inner force. The difference in strength between the two was 2 stages. Xiao Chen couldn't help but frown. He hoped that Shen Jingmao would admit defeat bluntly. This way, he wouldn't be hurt. However, admitting defeat was dishonorable. Shen Jingmao might not do so. Therefore, Xiao Chen's entire person fell into a state of anxiety. Li Shanying, isn't he the person I saw last night? And that Shen Jingmao, isn't he your girlfriend's younger brother? Yi Xiaoya looked at the martial arts arena and asked Xiao Chen. Only then did she find that Xiao Chen was very nervous. She couldn't help but say, "You look a little nervous." "How can I not be nervous?" Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. Li Shanying is at the 7th stage of inner force, and Shen Jingmao is only at the 5th stage. What about you? You want to go up and help? That would be tantamount to challenging Li Shanying, but we can't stop him before the match starts unless Shen Jingmao admits defeat, Yi Xiaoya said. Let's wait and see. Xiao Chen circulated his mental cultivation method and circulated his primordial energy, preparing to attack at any moment. Li Shanying was not an arrogant and despotic person. On the contrary, he was somewhat reserved. After getting on the stage, he looked at Shen Jingmao calmly and said, "I've seen your information. You're at stage 5 inner force, while I'm at stage 7 inner force. Do you want to admit defeat or fight? But you have no hope." Shen Jingmao didn't expect that he would be so unlucky. His opponent was Li Shanying, a stage 7 inner force martial artist. However, there was no way to choose. It was a random combination. Just like in the first match, both of them were at stage 5 inner force. In the world of martial artists, there was no such thing as absolute fairness. You couldn't expect your enemies to have the same strength as you, right? Cross-level collisions happen from time to time, so if you met an opponent who was stronger than you, you could only blame it on your bad luck. Now, Shen Jingmao was in such a dilemma. If Li Shanying was at the peak of stage 5 inner force, or even if he was at stage 6 inner force, he would still have the thought of fighting. If he lost, he wouldn't lose face. However, his opponent was at stage 7 inner force. The gap between them was too big. Shen Jingmao knew that he had no chance of winning. It was not even a victory, but a chance of survival. In the previous challenges, there were many challengers who were killed or crippled. There was no other way. The summit was cruel. Either you lose face and admit defeat. At this moment, Shen Jingmao's heart was in a constant struggle. Since he was young, he had been raised by his father to be the heir of the family. He knew that he couldn't back down, but not backing down might mean death. Below the stage, Shen Jingxian was also panting. She grabbed Cheng Menjiang's hand and said nervously, "Menjiang, what should we do? Will Jingmao be alright? This Li Shanying is ruthless. So he is a martial artist at stage 7 inner force? He really hit it well. If he wanted to fight Xiao Chen head-on, Xiao Chen would have been killed. It seems that Xiao Chen is really lucky." Cheng Menjiang also sighed and said, "Jingxian, don't worry. It's useless to worry. We can only wait for Jingmao's judgment." Sigh. Shen Jingxian sighed. On the other side, Shen Zhenghao was also very nervous. He didn't expect that Shen Jingmao would be so unlucky to meet such a strong opponent. It should be known that the level of this summit was not high. Disciples at stage 7 or stage 8 inner force were already at the top. There were very few of them. Most of the challengers were at stage 5 inner force, and the higher ones were at the peak of stage 5 or stage 6 inner force. Shen Jingmao was really unlucky to meet such a strong opponent. Shen Zhenghao wanted to shout at Shen Jingmao to give up, but he knew that even if he shouted, Shen Jingmao wouldn't be able to hear him. Lu Fengzhen seemed to have seen through Shen Zhenghao's plan. He patted Shen Zhenghao's shoulder and said, "As long as he is still breathing, I can guarantee that he will be fine. But whether he can embark on the path of martial arts in the future depends on his own luck." "Thank you, Elder Lu." Shen Zhenghao let out a long sigh of relief. He was so excited that he almost cried out of gratitude. He was also in a dilemma. If Shen Zhengmao took the initiative to admit defeat, then Shen Zhengmao would automatically give up his qualification as the heir of the Shen family. This was a great shame. They didn't care whether your opponent was at stage 7 inner force or not. They only cared about your reputation. Now, with old Lu's guarantee, Shen Jingmao would be able to keep his life. In this way, as long as he could embark on the path of martial arts again, he still had a chance to compete for the position of the heir of the Shen family, because he didn't bring shame to the Shen family and didn't admit defeat in advance. Lu Fengzhen nodded and didn't say anything more. He was doing this for Xiao Chen's sake. Otherwise, he wouldn't know Shen Zhenghao. At that time, he could take the opportunity to discuss medical knowledge with Xiao Chen. How great would that be? Please. Shen Jingmao had made his choice in a few breaths. He stretched out his hand and made a start gesture. Fine. If that's the case, I'll fulfill your wish. Li Shanning nodded, and his eyes suddenly became gloomy. His whole body soared into the sky like a bolt of lightning. His hands formed into claws, and his arms stretched out horizontally like a rock spreading its wings. His whole body soared into the sky like Shen Jingmao. When he got closer, Li Shanning's two hands went straight for the top of Shen Jingmao's skull. This move was really worthy of his name. He was like an eagle, incomparably domineering. If this claw was accurate, Shen Jingmao would die immediately. Shen Jingmao suddenly turned pale with fright. He stretched out his arms to block. Although he managed to block it, he only heard two cracking sounds. Shen Jingmao's arms had been broken by Li Shanning's claws. Li Shanning landed on the ground, and Shen Jingmao took 2 steps back. A trace of pain flashed across his face. He didn't expect that his arms would be crippled in just one move. For martial arts practitioners, the arms were the most important. Even the legs were not as important as the arms. Li Shanning's grip was so strong that the bones in his arms were crushed. He didn't know if they could recover. Shen Jingmao felt bitter in his heart. If his arms were crippled, he might not have any hope of competing for the position of the heir of the Shen family in the future. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath and rushed towards Li Shanning crazily. He no longer had any hope. He just wanted to cause some damage to Li Shanning before he died so that his death would be worth it. Looking at Shen Jingmao's desperate stance, Li Shanning wasn't afraid. Instead, he laughed sarcastically. It was often said that the strong were afraid of the unreasonable, and the unreasonable were afraid of the reckless. In other words, reckless people were the most powerful, but at the level of a martial artist, strength was the foundation. Even if you were reckless, it would be difficult for you to cause any harm to a person at the 7th stage of inner force. Shen Jingmao didn't even have to use any martial arts techniques before his arms were crippled. He didn't have any methods left. He rushed over and wanted to hit Li Shanning with his body. Who would have thought that Li Shanning would casually dodge and kick Shen Jingmao's chest? This kick was incomparably domineering. Li Shanning used the full strength of his 7th stage inner force. This kick was enough to take Shen Jingmao's life. Shen Jingmao was kicked into the air by Li Shanning. He flew out of the martial arts arena like a meteor. Blood spurted from his mouth and formed a blood arrow in the sky. It was as miserable as one could imagine. Xiao Chen couldn't stand it anymore. He didn't expect Shen Jingmao to be so stupid. He didn't want to live anymore and fought with his life on the line. Between martial artists, do you fight with your life on the line like this? Do you think this is a street fight? However, Xiaochen couldn't ignore it. That was his brother-in-law. Would Goddess Shen be happy if he died? His legs kicked the ground and his whole body soared into the air from his seat. He directly caught Shen Zhengmao in the air before he landed on the ground. At this moment, Shen Zhengmao was gasping for breath. Xiaochen was shocked and quickly asked, "Elder Heaven Ancestor, what do we do? He won't die, right? What do we do?" "You save him." Elder Heaven Ancestor said lightly. "Me save him? How do I save him?" Xiaochen was stunned. "Your primordial qi is all-purpose primordial qi. If you can heal yourself, you can naturally heal him. You just need to use the mantra to guide your primordial qi to circulate in his body. Otherwise, if the primordial qi enters and there's no one to guide it, it will be dead primordial qi." Elder Heaven Ancestor said. "Okay." Xiaochen didn't think too much about it. He immediately circulated his mental cultivation method and channeled his primordial energy into Shen Jingmao's body. He began to guide the primordial energy to heal Shen Jingmao's injuries. As for him, he carried Shen Jingmao and landed on the platform once again. Xiaochen's appearance surprised everyone, including the judges and the two elders. They looked at Xiaochen's actions strangely. In the audience, Shen Jingxian and Shen Zhenghao were a little excited. The white fox finally made a move. Sure enough, he couldn't ignore Shen Jingmao. "Who are you? The competition isn't over yet. You interfered without permission and went on the martial arts arena. Do you have any rules? Get down." Elder Wang, who represented the righteous faction, said with some displeasure. Chapter 356. Do you want to challenge him? Elder Su's tone was much nicer when he saw that the person White Fox had saved was a representative of the Demon Alliance. He spoke up in favor of Xiaochen as soon as he spoke. "That's right, I want to challenge Li Shanying. My number is 17, and I represent the Demon Star sect." Xiaochen nodded as he spoke. "Even if you want to challenge him, there must be rules. You should mention it in advance." Elder Wang snorted coldly and said unhappily, "Now, all right, Elder Wang, we are only here to hold the line. There are referees here, so let the referees decide whether we can challenge him or not." Elder Su saw that there was no point in continuing to argue with Elder Wang, so he tossed the issue to the referees. Furthermore, these two referees had extraordinary backgrounds, so their words were the most public. Neither he nor Elder Wang could refute them. "Very well, please judge." Elder Wang nodded. "The winner of the previous match has been decided. According to the rules, contestant 19, Shen Jingmao, has already been knocked out of the arena, so he should be judged as the loser. Therefore, the match has already ended. Challenger 17, please step forward and challenge him." "The challenge is valid," Song Huawu said calmly. Hongzhu looked at Song Huawu in surprise. He had not expected her to speak up for Xiaochen. Logically speaking, the situation was ambiguous, so Xiaochen jumping up to challenge him was not in line with the rules. In any case, it made sense no matter what she said. Challenger 43, Li Shanying, has already won. He can accept challenges from other challengers. I also believe that the challenge is valid. Hongzhu also spoke up. Hongzhu's word surprised Song Huawu. Under normal circumstances, Hongzhu would always disagree with her. What was going on today? From what she said, did she completely agree with her point of view? Or did she feel that this was the right decision out of fairness? Regardless, Song Huawu heaved a sigh of relief. She had a good relationship with Xiaochen, so she naturally didn't want anything to happen to Xiaochen. If the two of them had different opinions, it would be up to the two elders to make the final decision. Elder Wang's face was a little red. He did not expect the two judges to support White Fox at the same time. However, he did not dare to say anything. Although he and Elder Su were the ones in charge of this summit, if he publicly went against the two judges' opinions, he would not be able to show his face anymore. If he was blacklisted by both the Supernatural Investigation Bureau and the Hong Chamber of Commerce, he could forget about any future prospects. On the other hand, Elder Su was very happy. He nodded and said, "Since the two judges have determined that the challenge is valid, then I announce that the next match is number 43 Li Shanning against number 17 White Fox. Contestant 17, please send the injured contestant off the stage for medical treatment." At this time, LV Fangzhen and Shen Zhenghao had already walked quickly to the martial arts arena. According to the normal rules, this was not allowed. After all, how could the audience walk around randomly? However, both Elder Wang and Elder Su knew LV Fangzhen and knew his identity. How would they dare to stop him? They simply pretended not to see it. Although very few people in the spectator seats recognized LV Fangzhen, the two elders did. When they saw LV Fangzhen walking over with Shen Zhenghao and taking his son, Shen Jingmao, down from the arena, they were both stunned at the same time. They were very puzzled. When did the Shen family have such a backer? Moreover, it seemed like this White Fox had made a move because of Shen Zhenghao. Elder Wang broke out in a cold sweat when he thought about how the two referees had said the same thing at the same time. There was definitely a connection. This White Fox most likely had a strong background and was related to Shen Jingmao. Otherwise, there would not be so many people supporting him. He thought to himself, "Fortunately, I did not insist on saying too much. Otherwise, I would have offended someone." Shen Zhenghao carried Shen Jingmao over and quickly returned to the audience with LV Fangzhen. LV Fangzhen began to treat Shen Jingmao. However, after he checked Shen Jingmao's injuries, he could not help but be stunned. "What's wrong, Elder Lu? Is there any trouble?" Shen Zhenghao was shocked. He quickly asked, thinking that there was a problem. "It shouldn't be." LV Fangzhen was shocked and continued to check Shen Jingmao's body. "What shouldn't be?" Shen Zhenghao asked carefully. "The injuries in his body have been completely healed, including the bones in his arms. They are as good as new. We only saw some superficial wounds. There are no problems with his internal organs and ribs," LV Fangzhen said. "What? Elder Lu, are you sure?" Shen Zhenghao was stunned. "That's not right." The sound of Li Shanning crushing the bones and the last kick and the dent in Shen Jingmao's chest were very clear. How could there be no problems? Although I can't believe it, but I'm afraid that my little friend White Fox has treated him. LV Fangzhen sighed and said, "I still underestimated White Fox's medical skills. They are thousands of times better than me. At least, I can't do that. Even with the help of elixirs, I can't recover so quickly." Ah! Shen Zhenghao was so excited that his whole body was trembling. His daughter had picked up a treasure and made a big profit. White Fox was too powerful. He was omnipotent in all aspects. "Hee, little Shen, your son-in-law is really good," LV Fangzhen said lightly. Yes. Shen Zhenghao nodded quickly. "Yes, I just don't know if he will abandon my daughter in the future. Elder Lu, please put in a good word for me." I don't think so." LV Fangzhen knew the true identity of White Fox. He knew that he had liked Shen Jingxian for several years and would not abandon her. Then, "Jingmao is fine?" Shen Zhenghao asked in a little disbelief. "He's fine. Let's watch the competition." LV Fangzhen nodded. "He just needs to rest." On the martial arts arena, Xiao Chen looked at Li Shanning coldly. Li Shanning was also a little surprised by Xiao Chen's appearance. He looked up and down at Xiao Chen and couldn't help but laugh. "White Fox, I was just about to challenge you. I didn't expect you to come to me." Why are you talking so much nonsense? Are these your last words? Xiao Chen had already made up his mind to kill Li Shanning. For an opponent like this who was of no help to his investigation of the mastermind behind the scenes, Xiao Chen naturally wanted to kill him if he could. That way, he wouldn't have to jump around in front of him endlessly. Very good. It seems that you haven't discovered the problem in your body, right? Li Shanning was very sure that the white fox in front of him had already dropped in level. After the cold demonic aura took effect, it would be very good if he had 2/3 of his strength left. Therefore, now Xiao Chen was at most a demonic cultivator with stage 5 inner force. Li Shanning could easily kill him, just like Shen Jingmao just now. Are you going to fight or not? If you don't, you won't have a chance when I make my move. Xiao Chen looked at Li Shanning's dawdling and was a little impatient. Hee, all right. Since you want to die so badly, I can only fulfill your wish. Li Shanning sneered. His eyes became gloomy again. Then, like a bolt of lightning, his whole body rose into the air. His hands formed into claws, his arms stretched out horizontally, and he pounced towards Xiao Chen. It was the same move that he used against Shen Jingmao. This was also the move that made Li Shanning famous. It was called Divine Eagle Claw. Both of Li Shanning's hands were clawed towards the top of Xiao Chen's head. However, unlike Shen Jingmao's shocked expression, Xiao Chen only watched calmly as Li Shanning approached. In Li Shanning's eyes, the white fox in front of him suddenly disappeared and appeared on his left. It was as if his whole body was forcibly moving horizontally. This startled Li Shanning and he hurriedly shifted his body, grabbing towards the left. His whole body was abnormally agile in the air. He was really like a mountain eagle, able to move left and right. This was different from many martial artists who could soar into the air. They could not move left and right, but Li Shanning had no problem doing so. Against an opponent like Li Shanning, whose strength was similar to his own, Xiao Chen did not dare to be negligent. From the fact that this guy could endure and not expose his identity as a martial artist, he was not a simple person. Moreover, he had previously treated Shen Jingmao and expended a lot of stamina and vitality. So, it was wisest for him to choose to end the battle quickly. Seeing that Li Shanning was about to grab the white fox's head, and the white fox did not dodge or evade, this made Li Shanning very excited. What an idiot! He had probably been poisoned by the cold demonic qi. The cold poison had invaded his brain, causing his reaction to be a little slow. He could even imagine the scene of Xiao Chen's head being crushed by him. Pa! Just as Li Shanning was fantasizing about the exciting moment, he only felt a sudden pain in his cheek, followed by a buzz in his brain. Then, his whole body was pulled down from the air and landed heavily on the ground. Ouch! Li Shanning's eyes widened in pain and shock. At this moment, he realized that the white fox did not change its position at all. It was still in its original position. He did not know why, but he suddenly saw the white fox change its position. Little did he know that it was not real. It was because he changed his direction that he was slapped to the ground. Xiao Chen did not care about him. He directly strode over and stepped on Li Shanning's chest. It was the same place where he had kicked Shen Jingmao previously. Not only that, Xiao Chen did not lift his foot after stepping on it, and stepped through Li Shanning's heart. The bones in Li Shanning's chest made a kacha-kacha sound. It was very horrifying, causing everyone present to break out in a cold sweat. As for Elder Wang, his heart was stuck in his throat. Li Shanning was a contestant that the higher-ups had requested to protect. But now, it was unknown if Li Shanning could even survive. Li Shanning's face was full of pain. His eyes were filled with hatred and unwillingness as he stared at Xiao Chen. He did not expect that with just one move, he would end up in such a state. Moreover, shouldn't the person in front of him be affected by the cold demonic qi? Why wasn't he affected? Stop! Elder Wang shouted, wanting to stop Xiao Chen from continuing to beat Li Shanning. Chapter 357. However, Xiao Chen acted as if he didn't hear anything. He stood on Li Shaning's body and slowly leaned down. In front of him, he lightly said, "Li Shaning, do you have any last words?" Woo 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 woo. Li Shaning's cheeks were smashed by Xiao Chen. He couldn't speak at all. He could only spit out a few broken syllables. "You want to ask me who I am, right?" Xiao Chen looked at Li Shaning with a smile. Woo woo. Li Shaning nodded hard. He really wanted to know who the white fox was. He died at the hands of a masked man. He was not reconciled. He wanted revenge. If he didn't die, he would definitely make his family go all out to kill the white fox. "It's not that I can't tell you, but this is our little secret." Xiao Chen whispered in Li Shaning's ear, "Actually, my name is Xiao Chen." When Xiao Chen said this, he had already returned to his original voice. Li Shaning was shocked. His face suddenly flashed with horror and disbelief, but he couldn't say anything. "I'll tell you another little secret. Your brother's cause of death is similar to yours. He also saw wrongly, so he drove down the cliff." Xiao Chen lightly said. Woo woo. Roar. Li Shaning's breathing became rapid. He opened his eyes wide. He understood that it wasn't that he saw wrongly, but Xiao Chen used some unknown method. However, he was a martial artist at the 7th level of inner strength. Xiao Chen was only at the peak of the 7th level of inner strength. In theory, the illusion of the devil sect was ineffective against experts of the same level. How could he fall for it? This was impossible. He wanted to spread the news and tell others to avenge him. Unfortunately, he didn't have the chance. Xiao Chen stepped on his head. Li Shaning died with his eyes wide open. "I told you to stop. Didn't you hear me?" Elder Wang was about to explode in anger. Li Shaning couldn't take it anymore. If it wasn't for his identity, he would have jumped onto the stage. "Elder Wang, what do you mean by this? The challenge is fair and just. Are you going to interfere with the process of the competition?" Elder Su didn't care. Li Shanning had nothing to do with him. He was very happy that the demon sect's contestant won. This. Elder Wang was also anxious. He harumphed and said, "The opponent has already lost the ability to move, but challenger number 17 still wants to kill him. This is against the rules." Elder Wang, challenger number 43, wasn't knocked out of the arena, nor did he take the initiative to admit defeat. "How can you say that he broke the rules?" Song Huawu spoke up. "But, right, his mouth is bad, he can't speak." Elder Wang said. He had to convict White Fox of a crime so that he could account for himself in the future. Otherwise, if White Fox were to go down like a normal person, it would be difficult for the person behind him to blame him. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau's referee seems to be Xiao Chen's desk mate. Cheng Menjing was very far away, so she couldn't see clearly. Although their temperaments seemed to be completely different, their appearance and voices were similar. Shen Jingxian was stunned, and she was about to explode with anger. Why did all the beautiful girls have a relationship with Xiao Chen? She didn't see it at all when she was in number 1 middle school. After she came to number 2 middle school, she found that Xiao Chen was so popular. Yes, she transferred here later. I was a little curious why she was at the same table with Xiao Chen. Maybe Tang Tang left, so the seat was empty. Cheng Menjing didn't think much about it. But in Shen Jingshuan's subconscious, Xiao Chen must also have a relationship with Song Huawu. Otherwise, why would she be at the same table with him? Moreover, did this Song Huawu also know that the White Fox was Xiao Chen? Otherwise, why would she help him? Humph, a playboy. At this time, Shen Jingshuan's phone rang. She glanced at the caller ID and picked it up. "Dad, how is Jingmao?" Although Shen Zhenghao sent a text message saying that Jingmao was fine, she was still a little worried. "It's okay. It's all thanks to Hero White Fox." Even old Lu said that Hero White Fox's medical skills are quite good. "Jingxian, you have to thank the White Fox hero. By the way, how are you two now?" Shen Zhenghao asked. Shen Jingxian was angry, and suddenly said with some displeasure, "It's nothing. That's it. We're about to break up." "What?" Shen Zhenghao almost jumped from the chair to the ceiling after hearing it. This scared him to death. "Jingxian, what are you talking about? What break up? Please don't let anything happen to you and Hero White Fox." Okay, I know. He's a playboy. Did you see the partner with him? That's his woman. She slept with him yesterday. She was so crazy that she tore her clothes. She shamelessly asked Jingmao to buy clothes for them. I really don't know what she's thinking." The more Shen Jingxian said, the angrier she got. She didn't look like a goddess at all. "Jingxian, why are you so insensible? Don't you know your own situation? Do you still want Hero White Fox to treat you wholeheartedly?" Shen Zhenghao said with some anger, "Jingxian, I'm not talking about you. You also agreed at the beginning. You also know Hero White Fox's situation. Now that Hero White Fox has helped our Shen family, you want to break up with him. Okay, I don't want to break up with him." Shen Jingxian said, gritting her teeth, but tears were rolling in her eyes. "What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Didn't I give my first time to Xiao Chen?" But she couldn't say these words to her father. How could she say that White Fox was Xiao Chen? However, she didn't want to talk to Xiao Chen, at least not now. Who told him to lie to her? On the other side of the audience, Yu Xiaochuan pinched his chin and looked at Xiao Chen on the martial arts stage. He was very excited. This is a real man of iron blood. He's too awesome, too handsome, too cool, too domineering. I like him so much. Little sister, don't you think Hero White Fox is very powerful? Yu Xiaochuan asked Yu Shanshan. Oh, you're talking about him. He's okay, right? Yu Shanshan didn't like fighting and killing. She almost fell asleep just now. Zhu Yingxiong was excited, but he didn't know who to tell. Boss is too awesome. Now that he heard Yu Xiaochuan say this, he finally found a soulmate. He quickly said for Yu Shanshan, brother, you think so too? I also think that Hero White Fox is too cool. He sent Li Shaning flying with just one slap. He's really awesome. Well, not bad. You have a good eye. Shanshan is right to find you. Yu Xiaochuan nodded as if he had found a soulmate. He was just a little unhappy that Zhu Yingxiong called him Brother Yu. He felt awkward. It was better to call him Sister Yu. Tang Tang looked at the person on the martial arts stage with a puzzled face. This person gave her a very familiar feeling, as if she had seen him somewhere, but she couldn't remember. It was just like the people around her. She was different from Cheng Menjing. Tang Tang spent every day with Xiao Chen, so she naturally had such a feeling. Although Cheng Menjing also lived with Xiao Chen, she rarely observed Xiao Chen. Naturally, she didn't think that White Fox and Xiao Chen were similar. This was also the reason why she didn't find out that Chao Yuliang was Xiao Chen in disguise. Tang Tang, what do you think of Hero White Fox? Isn't he very handsome? When Yu Xiaochuan saw Hero White Fox, he had a feeling of worship. That kind of admiration came from the heart. Before, when he saw Xiao Chen and the red-haired man, he just thought they were handsome. But when he saw Hero White Fox, he had an impulse to be with him. Chapter 358. Therefore, he wondered if he could let Tang Tang hook up with swordsman White Fox. In this way, wouldn't he have the opportunity to come into contact with the White Fox hero? Although Hero White Fox might not be able to accept it, it was still good for him to look at him from afar. Thinking of this, Yu Xiaochuan was a little excited. He was really too smart. It's okay. Tang Tang was a little confused, not knowing why Yu Xiaochuan asked this. Then how do you think he compares to Xiao Chen? Who is more handsome? Yu Xiaochuan asked. Xiao Chen. Tang Tang was stunned. Yes, Xiao Chen. She had felt that the White Fox was familiar, but she didn't know why. Now that Yu Xiaochuan had pointed it out, she suddenly realized that the White Fox's figure was very similar to Xiao Chen's. What? Xiao Chen? Yu Xiaochuan's expression was a little ugly. You only know Xiao Chen. Look, Hero White Fox is also very handsome, isn't he? What? Tang Tang was a little stunned. Yu Xiaochuan rarely talked to her these days. He just greeted her with a few cold and normal words. But today, he argued with her because of Swordsman White Fox. He even said so many words. Who was this Swordsman White Fox to him? Why was he so protective of him? As a result, Tang Tang's impression of Swordsman White Fox became worse. She used to think that he was very similar to Xiao Chen, but now it seemed that he was just a pretentious guy. I didn't see it. That's all. Tang Tang said lightly. What kind of taste do you have? Yu Xiaochuan was a little anxious. I'm not talking to you anymore. Tang Tang inexplicably looked at Yu Xiaochuan, who spoke like a trap. She was a little speechless, but Yu Xiaochuan's situation had little to do with her. She shook her head and thought, I don't know what happened to Xiao Chen. He wanted to ask Zhu Yingxiong alone, but he didn't have the chance. He could only sit there gloomily. White Fox. You think you're awesome? I want to challenge you now. Xiao Chen was standing on the stage, receiving the blessings of victory. At this moment, Leng Youxiang suddenly jumped onto the stage from the challenger's seat. He pointed at Xiao Chen coldly and flicked his long hair back, looking very cool. Instantly, a group of love-struck female spectators below the stage screamed. Strength and handsomeness were what a martial artist needed to show off. They were also what Leng Youxiang was proud of. Among all the challengers, he might not be the strongest, but if he said he was the second strongest, no one would dare to say they were the first. This was because the other challengers were at most at the peak of Stage 8 inner force. However, Leng Youxiang was also a demonic cultivator, and so was Xiao Chen. Although it was very cool for him to suddenly jump onto the stage to challenge, after thinking about it, they were a little puzzled. What was he challenging? Could it be an internal conflict within the demonic alliance? Leng Youxiang, what are you doing? You and White Fox number 17 are both demonic cultivators, are you sure you want to challenge him? Elder Su's expression changed slightly. Whether it was White Fox or Leng Youxiang being injured, this wasn't what he wanted to see. Although the challenge between the demonic sects was just for fun, the winner and loser didn't affect the overall score. However, White Fox and Leng Youxiang were both contestants who had never challenged in the market. If one of them was injured, they might have to admit defeat during the challenge. This was equivalent to deducting 10 points for the demonic alliance. Elder Su, number 1 Leng Youxiang wants to challenge number 17 White Fox. Can we begin? Leng Youxiang cupped his fists and said to Elder Su. You. Elder Su was extremely depressed, but the rules of the competition didn't restrict this kind of situation. It just hadn't happened in previous competitions. Elder Su, what do you mean by this? He wants to challenge, but you're making excuses. Are you trying to stop the competition from continuing? I think the challenge is valid. I'm afraid the two referees think so too, right? Elder Wang was very pleased this time. It was great that the demonic alliance had an internal conflict. Hong Zhu also frowned. He glanced at Song Huawu, wanting to see what she had to say. She could tell that the two of them shared the same opinion when it came to dealing with Xiaochen. They would not oppose each other. Challenge? Of course. Xiaochen was afraid that Hongzhu and Song Huawu would stop the challenge. He was looking for an opportunity to kill Leng Youxiang. In any case, killing one was killing, and killing two was also killing. He didn't care. The challenge is valid. Next, White Fox number 17 will accept number 1 Leng Youxiang's challenge. Hongzhu saw that Xiaochen had agreed, so he naturally wouldn't stop him. That's right, you can challenge him. Song Huawu nodded and said. Since the two referees have no objections, let the challenge begin. Elder Wang said proudly. White Fox, you're very bold, aren't you? You still dare to accept the challenge? I thought you would directly kneel and admit defeat. Don't think that you can defeat me just because that idiot Li Shanning drank too much last night and was fooled by you. Leng Youxiang looked at Xiaochen mockingly. You merely set up an illusion. It's just a small trick. You might be able to hide it from Li Shanning, but you can't hide it from me. Don't forget, with my strength, your illusion is useless against me. So what? Xiaochen looked at the threatening Leng Youxiang and said indifferently, you're just a demonic cultivator at the peak of stage 8 inner force. Beating you is like beating a dog. Ha! Leng Youxiang couldn't help but laugh exaggeratedly. Beating me like beating a dog? Then I'll turn you into a dog first. How did the frigid demonic energy taste last night? Not bad, right? I'm surprised that you didn't drop a level, but it doesn't matter. I'll let you know the difference in strength. Cut the crap. Hurry up and attack. 1, 2, 3. If you don't attack, I'll attack. You won't have a chance like Li Shanning, Xiaochen said. You're asking for it. Leng Youxiang felt a chill run down his spine. He activated his mantra and was about to release the frigid demonic energy to give Xiaochen a fatal blow. However, just as he activated the mantra, his expression changed. What is this? What is this? He felt that there was an unknown energy in his body. It was definitely not demonic energy. What was it? Where did it come from? This thing was blocking his energy center. He couldn't use the demonic energy at all and his strength couldn't increase. Leng Youxiang was just like Ouyang Tang. He was inexplicably hit by the attack. Of course, Xiaochen had only caught him off guard. If he hadn't been so arrogant and guarded against it, he wouldn't have been hit. Even if he cultivated diligently at night after being hit, he would realize that something was wrong. However, he and Li Shanning had been drinking for half the night. How could he have the time to cultivate? Leng Youxiang was a martial artist at the peak of the 8th stage of inner strength. If he had enough time, he could quickly expel the essence energy from his body. It would only take a few hours. After all, Xiaochen's strength was obvious. He wasn't as strong as him. However, he didn't realize that it was too late to expel it from his body. His expression changed, but he saw that Xiaochen was already approaching. Dark Flame Palm, 7th form. Xiaochen's first move was the Devil Star Sex Ultimate Technique. It was the strongest martial technique he could use. Boom! Leng Youxiang was sent flying by Xiaochen's palm. His body flew backward rapidly until he hit the edge of the martial arts stage. He spat out a mouthful of blood and looked at Xiaochen in shock. Fortunately, he realized that something was wrong and used the only demonic energy he could mobilize to protect his body. That was why he wasn't killed by Xiaochen's palm. However, he was puzzled. Why? Didn't he investigate that White Fox wasn't from Yi Xiaoya's sect? Why did he know the Dark Flame Palm? Could it be that he really was Yi Xiaoya's senior and junior brother, but he didn't investigate it? Not only was Leng Youxiang shocked, but Yi Xiaoya, who was below the stage, was also shocked. Wasn't Dark Flame Palm the Devil Star Sect's ultimate technique? Why did White Fox know how to use it? She had never taught him before. Moreover, looking at his proficiency, he should have been cultivating since he was young. However, she didn't know that there was such a powerful person in her sect. Yi Xiaoye was a little puzzled. Could it be, very good? Very good. Very good. Leng Youxiang said very good 3 times in a row. He was furious. He was actually beaten like a dead dog by a martial artist who was 1 rank lower than him. This made him very angry. As a famous expert in his sect, he was used to being superior. No matter where he went, he would be the one being called upon. Furthermore, he was the one fighting others. No one had ever fought him before. Now, he was beaten to the point of vomiting blood. You're a repeater. Xiao Chen didn't plan on letting Leng Youxiang off. Since yesterday, when this guy injected the Frigidine demonic energy into his body, this enmity was already formed. Furthermore, it was unresolvable. These are your last words? Humph. Leng Youxiang didn't reply. Instead, he leaned against the railing of the stage behind him. It was unknown what he was doing. Pa! Xiao Chen slapped him and scolded, aren't you very arrogant? You want to flirt with my partner and even want to kill me. It's just a matter of minutes for me to stomp you to death. Humph. Leng Youxiang's mouth was bleeding from the slap. However, he still didn't dodge or retaliate. This caused Xiao Chen to be slightly puzzled. According to the rules of the competition, when one side leaned against the railing, this was the time to hesitate. One couldn't attack ruthlessly and could only wait for the opponent to make a choice. Either he walked over and continued fighting, or he jumped off the stage and admitted defeat. Number 17 White Fox, watch your actions. Don't attack at this moment. Otherwise, you'll be judged to have lost. Elder Su couldn't help but remind him. He didn't want anything to happen to the 2 outstanding disciples of the Devil Alliance. He still needed to rely on them to obtain points in the later challenges. On the other hand, Elder Wang didn't care. What did it have to do with him if you guys beat him to death? He was watching with the attitude of watching a show and didn't say anything. Hong Zhu and Song Huawu naturally sided with Xiao Chen. Now that Xiao Chen had slapped Leng Youxiang, they naturally wouldn't say anything. If it was Leng Youxiang instead of Xiao Chen, and Leng Youxiang dared to make a move, it would be judged as his loss.
Chapter 359. Of course, there was a time limit to the hesitation. If anyone wanted to stay on the railing and not move, that was not allowed. Are you done? Xiao Chen asked somewhat impatiently. In reality, he was also taking advantage of this period of time to recover his essence. After all, he had treated Shen Jingmao's injuries, fought Li Shaniying, and used the Dark Flame Palm. All of these had consumed a lot of his essence. Ha! Suddenly, Leng Youxiang's eyes turned scarlet red, and a layer of ice that looked like armor formed around his body. Demonic Qi manifestation. Some of the people below the stage who knew what it was exclaimed loudly. Demonic Qi manifestation was a secret technique that only a few demonic cultivators could do. It was a technique that killed 1,000 enemies and sacrificed 800 of their own. He used a special method to force all the demonic Qi out of his body and form an armor around his body. This way, he was equivalent to a martial artist with physical strength. It was similar to a martial artist's body tempering, completely relying on the strength of his body to fight. However, this method also had a flaw. After the technique dissipated, the demonic Qi would disappear, and he would also be greatly injured. It was even possible that he would need to lie in bed for 3 to 5 months to recover his strength. However, there was no other way. Sometimes, when the body was injured and unable to continue fighting, he could only force out all the demonic Qi in his body and form an armor to continue fighting. The current situation was that although Leng Youxiang's injuries weren't particularly serious, he was unable to circulate the demonic qi in his body through his meridians. Therefore, he used a mystic art to force it out, forming a suit of armor. The inexplicable yuan qi was also forced out. Come on. It's my turn now. Leng Youxiang's secret technique was successful. He directly jumped from the railing and kicked at Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen was shocked. He did not know what technique Leng Youxiang was using, but it was definitely very powerful. He did not dare to be negligent. As he retreated, he hurriedly raised his hand to block. However, Leng Youxiang's strength was too great, and Xiao Chen was still kicked out. Boom. Xiao Chen was sent tumbling by the kick. The toughness of the opponent's body was beyond Xiao Chen's expectations. What kind of ghostly technique was this? It was too strange, wasn't it? Although Xiao Chen also knew that demonic cultivators often had some tricks that couldn't be judged by common sense, wasn't this person in front of him a little too strange? Shen Jingxian couldn't help but feel nervous when she saw Xiao Chen being kicked to the ground. Although she said that she didn't want to care about Xiao Chen and wanted to break up with him, she still cared a lot about it. She held on to Qing Menjing's hand tightly. Jingxian, you said you didn't care. Look how nervous you are.
Qing Menjing had no feelings for the white fox. She was only concerned about it because of Shen Jingxian. Menjing, Shen Jingshuan's eyes were fixed on the martial stage. Shen Zhenghao was also a little worried at this moment. He could already see that the white fox was a demonic cultivator at the peak of the 7th stage of inner force. However, this peak of the 7th stage might be even stronger than a normal peak of the 8th stage. He didn't know why, but Leng Youxiang's ultimate move caught the white fox off guard. LV Fangzhen was also a little worried at this moment. However, he knew that if Xiao Chen showed any signs of being defeated, he believed that Hongzhu would intervene. Dark Flame Palm. Xiao Chen used his hand to push himself off the ground. After jumping up, he once again used his strongest martial technique. The 7th move. Hee, insignificant skill. Leng Youxiang sneered and didn't dodge. He just stood in front of Xiao Chen as the cold demonic aura around his body intensified once again. Frigid Blade. But this time, it was different from his ultimate skill, Wrath of the Frigid Een. This time, Xiao Chen could see it with his naked eye. On the layer of ice on Leng Youxiang's body, needle-shaped sharp blades formed, shooting towards Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen was startled. He had already activated his martial technique, so he couldn't dodge in time. He could only take the blades head-on. The blades directly penetrated Xiao Chen's body, while Xiao Chen's dark flame palm struck Leng Youxiang's body. Leng Youxiang was slightly taken aback. He hadn't expected that Xiao Chen wouldn't dodge at all. If he had dodged even a little, the might of the dark flame palm wouldn't have been as great. However, it seemed like he had taken all the frigid blade head-on, and the palm had landed squarely on Leng Youxiang's chest. Leng Youxiang staggered a few steps back as the ice crystal on his chest shattered. He spat out a mouthful of blood and swayed a few times before stabilizing himself. It was clear that Xiao Chen's martial technique had caused him great damage. However, the ice crystals on the other parts of his body quickly gathered and repaired the shattered ice crystals on his chest. This armor was probably thinner than before, but it was still able to repair itself and maintain its integrity. However, Xiao Chen was a little upset. Xiao Chen also staggered a few steps back, but the frigid Een blade directly entered his body as if it had a mind of its own. It entered his meridians and transformed into the same frigid Een devil chi as before. This frigid Een devil chi was bone-chilling, and its might was even greater than before. This was because the frigid Een blade seemed to be constantly stabbing at Xiao Chen's meridians. Looking at Leng Youxiang's cruel smile, Xiao Chen knew that this fellow was indeed an outstanding talent of his demon sect. Frigid Een blade. Leng Youxiang didn't give Xiao Chen a chance. After repairing his shattered ice crystal armor, he once again activated an ice blade and shot it at Xiaochen. Boom! Xiaochen was sent flying, just like how Leng Youxiang had been. With a loud clang, Xiaochen slammed into the railing of the arena behind him before he stopped. The frigid devil qi in his body was still rampaging through his body. It was causing trouble. Leng Youxiang chased after Xiaochen relentlessly as he sped toward Xiaochen. He planned to continue activating his technique to kill Xiaochen. Number 1, Leng Youxiang, watch your actions. If you dare to make another move, you will be declared the loser of this match. Hongzhu warned Leng Youxiang when he saw that Leng Youxiang was about to make another move. We will now enter the hesitation period. You have 10 minutes. The match will continue after 10 minutes. Song Huawu added. Leng Youxiang stopped in his tracks helplessly. What were the two judges doing when he was being slapped? However, they might have been caught off guard by Xiaochen earlier, so they hadn't been able to react in time. However, with Elder Su's reminder, the two judges paid close attention to Leng Youxiang. No matter what, he had no choice but to stop in his tracks and wait for Xiaochen to hesitate. Then, he glanced at Xiaochen and said coldly, "Hesitate, continue hesitating. Let's see how long you can hide. Unless you admit defeat." Xiaochen didn't say anything, but he wouldn't admit defeat either. He was glad that he had the time to hesitate. 10 minutes should be enough. Under the guidance of Yuan Qi, the excess demonic energy in his body began to encircle the frigid blades that had invaded his meridians. Last night, Xiaochen had been worried that Yi Xiaoye had injected too much demonic energy into him. He didn't expect that it would come in handy today. The two opposing demonic energies began to fuse and transform into Yuan Qi that Xiaochen absorbed. Soon, he was about to break through. Last night, he was only a hair's breadth away from breaking through. Today was the perfect opportunity. The frigid blades were constantly dissolved by the demonic energy and transformed into Yuan Qi. Little by little, they began to attack Xiaochen's barrier. He was about to break through. It was right in front of him. Boom! In the next moment, Xiaochen felt as if something in his body had been broken. He was now a cultivator at the 7th stage of the Qi refinement realm. His current strength was comparable to a martial artist at the 8th stage of inner force. He could even fight a martial artist at the peak of the 8th stage. At this moment, Leng Youxiang was basically nothing in Xiaochen's eyes. It wasn't that he hadn't thought of using object manipulation to kill Leng Youxiang, but firstly, there was nothing he could use on the martial arts stage. Secondly, Xiaochen didn't want to show off his special ability in front of everyone. Now that he had broken through naturally, there was nothing to worry about. Xiaochen suddenly attacked. The 7th form of the dark flame palm was slapped at Leng Youxiang. Leng Youxiang didn't expect Xiaochen to attack so suddenly without any warning. However, he didn't hesitate and quickly dodged. He didn't want to fight with Xiaochen head-on. After all, Xiaochen's martial arts were very powerful. This ice crystal armor would be destroyed if it was hit a few times. Therefore, he planned to dodge first before attacking. However, he was a little puzzled. This person in front of him really had some skills. He could even dissolve the frigid blades. Normally, when the frigid blades entered a meridian, it was like being stabbed by a knife or needle. It was extremely painful. He didn't expect Xiaochen to dissolve it in such a short period of hesitation. Or could it be that he was just enduring it? Leng Youxiang retreated as he thought of a countermeasure. However, he didn't expect that Xiaochen didn't stop after using the 7th form of the dark flame palm. Instead, he continued to pursue and used the dark flame palm again. Boom! This dark flame palm landed solidly on Leng Youxiang's body. It instantly shattered the ice crystal armor on his chest. Then, it went straight for his chest. In an instant, Leng Youxiang's chest was pierced by Xiaochen. Leng Youxiang looked at Xiao Chen in shock. He never expected that the 7th form of the dark flame palm was a feint. The 8th form of the dark flame palm was the real killer move. Leng Youxiang panted heavily. He knew that he wouldn't be able to survive, but he didn't expect to die here. He originally wanted to make a name for himself at the righteous and demonic Pine Summit, but it had become his burial ground. He couldn't accept this. He was a candidate for the future demonic sect master. He was someone who would rise to the top, but he was actually killed by an unknown masked man? How was this possible? He had never even heard of this white fox. How could he be so powerful? Moreover, he had actually hidden his strength? He wasn't a demonic cultivator at the peak of stage 7 internal force? Chapter 360. Of course, Leng Youxiang could not tell that Xiao Chen was a cultivator when he broke through. He could only tell how strong Xiao Chen was when Xiao Chen revealed his strength. You're a stage 8 inner force demonic cultivator. These were Leng Youxiang's last words in this world. He could not accept it, but he still died. The world of martial artists was cruel. One moment, one could be glorious, and the next, one could be crushed into pieces. All the glory belonged to the winner. Number 1 Leng Youxiang died on the spot. Number 17 White Fox wins. Elder Wang announced gloatingly. He thought to himself, fight all you want. It's best if you all die. Everyone was shocked and silent. There were many people who did not know about White Fox, but there were very few who did not know about Leng Youxiang. Everyone thought that Leng Youxiang would be the leader of this summit without a doubt. It wasn't just Leng Youxiang's status, but his strength as well. Only Yu Ganding, an expert from the prestigious Yu clan, could rival him. Although Yu Ganding was also at the peak of stage 8 inner strength, everyone knew that demon cultivators were naturally stronger than martial cultivators. In fact, Yu Ganding didn't have any complaints about Leng Youxiang being the strongest, because Leng Youxiang was truly powerful. In Yu Ganding's mind, being the second strongest was good enough. From this, it could be seen how strong Leng Youxiang was. However, just when everyone thought that Leng Youxiang would be the number 1 without a doubt, White Fox appeared out of nowhere and killed Leng Youxiang. Actually, Leng Youxiang died a little unjustly. If Xiao Chen had not inexplicably injected some primordial qi into his dantian without him noticing, he would not be in such a sorry state today. However, there was a cause and effect. Who asked him to inject frigid demonic qi into Xiao Chen's body first? In addition, Xiao Chen was a cultivator and could use dark flame palm to the extreme. Even if Yi Xiaoye reached the peak of stage 8 inner force, her 8th form of dark flame palm might not be as good as Xiao Chen's. On the other hand, Leng Youxiang had underestimated his opponent. He did not expect that Xiao Chen would be able to follow up with an 8th style after activating the 7th style. Furthermore, Xiao Chen had hidden his true strength and caught him off guard. But no matter what, Xiao Chen won. No one cared about these internal details, and no one would know the truth. Shen Zhenghao heaved a sigh of relief. His face was indescribably relaxed. He knew that the White Fox would not disappoint him. Shen Jingxian let go of Cheng Menjing's hand. She snorted and said, "You're just pretending to be weak. You obviously have the strength, but you still want to deceive me. Hee, Jingxian, it seems like you have a hidden grudge." Cheng Menjing laughed. As for Yu Xiaochuan, at this moment, he was so excited that he couldn't control himself. Handsome, he was simply too handsome. Compared to Hero White Fox, all the heroes present were trash. What red hair! There was no comparison at all. Originally, Yu Xiaochuan thought that red hair and Xiao Chen were not bad and had the urge to get close to them. But compared to Hero White Fox, he felt that he had discovered his true love. That's right, it was Hero White Fox. Yu Xiaochuan could not help but take out his phone and enter the Warrior Guild's app. He sent a private message to White Fox. Hero White Fox, you're too handsome. I worship you so much. Of course, Xiaochuan did not dare to say that he liked White Fox. He only said that he worshipped White Fox. He was afraid that he would scare Hero White Fox and block him. After Xiaochuan accepted the victory congratulations, he left the arena. No one dared to challenge him anymore. Or rather, no one dared to challenge him anymore. From today onwards, the name White Fox would become famous in both the righteous and demon sects. Especially in Songning City, this name was known by all the aristocratic families. You're awesome. Yi Xiaoya did not expect Xiaochuan to be so powerful. But she was still worried. You killed Leng Youxiang. There might be trouble in the future. Even if I didn't kill him, he would still kill me. It's fine. Didn't we kill the disciple of the West Mountain Demon too? Xiaochuan said nonchalantly. You broke through again? Only Yi Xiaoya knew Xiaochuan's true strength. Yes, it's all thanks to the demonic energy you injected into me last night. If you didn't lose so much, Leng Youxiang's cold blade wouldn't have been so easily resolved by me. Xiaochuan said gratefully. It's also because of the demonic energy in my body that I broke through. Oh, you're my partner. Of course I'll help you. Yi Xiaoya suddenly changed the topic. There's another important question. How did you learn our Devil Star sect's ultimate technique, Dark Flame Palm? Who taught you that? Guess. Xiaochuan asked. You're from Songning? Yi Xiaoya did not guess. Instead, she asked an unrelated question. Of course I'm from Songning. Xiaochuan did not hide this. But it was not the right time to tell Yi Xiaoya that he was Xiaochuan. Then, did a beautiful auntie from Devil Star sect teach you? Yi Xiaoya asked hesitantly. Huh? Xiaochuan was stunned. A beautiful auntie from Devil Star sect? Who was that? I've never seen her before. However, Xiaochuan said vaguely, I can't. She taught me. She's my person. I can't tell anyone, oh. Yi Xiaoya seemed to have guessed something and didn't ask further. Since you know the Dark Flame Palm, it means we are fated to meet. If you are that person's disciple, then you and I are the senior and junior brothers. Why aren't they fellow disciples? Xiaochuan asked. How old are you? Asked Yi Xiaoya. 19, said Xiaochuan. Then I'll let you be my senior. Yi Xiaoya did not care much. However, you'd better not tell others about what I told you before, especially about that person teaching you martial arts. Otherwise, you're likely to be killed. So serious? Xiaochuan was stunned. He felt as if he had fallen into a conspiracy for no reason. Very serious. Yi Xiaoya nodded and said solemnly, you must remember. You mustn't speak carelessly. If someone asks you, just tell them that I taught you. You? Xiaochuan looked at Yi Xiaoya in surprise and said, won't your sect blame you? I'm a candidate for the Sacred Maiden of the Demon Sect. My sect won't blame me too much. But you, if you talk nonsense, you're dead. The strength of those opponents is beyond your imagination. Don't think that they're all like Leng Youxiang, said Yi Xiaoya seriously. Hearing Yi Xiaoya's reminder, Xiaochuan did not dare to be negligent. He quickly nodded. Anyway, this martial arts technique was really taught to him by Yi Xiaoya. He was not lying, so he said, okay, if someone asks me, I'll say that you taught me. I won't say anything else. That's good. Actually, no one will ask you. I'm just reminding you, said Yi Xiaoya. After Xiaochuan left the stage, the competition continued in an orderly manner. However, the rest of the competition basically had nothing to do with Xiaochuan. He and Yi Xiaoya were not drawn. The two of them completely became spectators. While the summit was going on, Xiaochuan was very angry that Shen Zhenghao did not respond. His email had been sent for many days, but Shen Zhenghao did not seem to have received it. During this period, he sent it again, but there was no response. This made him very angry. Shen Zhenghao was admitted into the White Fox. What was there to be afraid of? Therefore, he did not respond to the person who sent him the email. This directly led to Xia Chen's rage. With his identity, it was impossible for him to attend the Songning summit. Therefore, he directly sent a message to Chen Huanling of the Chen family. Shen Zhenghao, didn't you ignore me? Fine, then I'll send it to an important person and let the Chen family know the truth. I'll make you suffer. Chen Huanling was the vice president of the Warrior Guild, but he was not qualified to attend the Songning summit. Only the president of the Warrior Guild was qualified to attend this summit. After all, it was a summit of the martial families at the provincial level. It was not something a city-level warrior guild could attend. Therefore, the president of the Warrior Guild was invited as a guest. However, Chen Huanling was not qualified. The Chen family was only slowly rising because of Chen Huanling, so naturally, they were not qualified to be invited. Therefore, they did not know that the White Fox had shocked Songning. When Chen Huanling received the message, he was immediately furious. He directly went to the old man of the Chen family, Chen Wuxian. Father, Jinpeng's death was too much of a conspiracy. From the video, it is very likely that the person wearing the fox mask killed Jinpeng. In fact, he liked Shen Jingxian. Otherwise, why would he be interested in a broken woman? Chen Huanling analyzed. Chen Wuxian was not stupid, especially when he saw the autopsy report at the end. It stated that Chen Jinpeng did not have sex before his death. He was even more furious. This was simply making Chen Jinpeng a scapegoat. Not only did he die without knowing the reason, but he also had to bear the brunt of the blame. This White Fox has evil intentions. He's really too despicable. How dare he make the Chen family die without descendants? Huanling, you must not let him go. Chen Wuxian slammed the table angrily and roared. Don't worry, father, I will definitely not let this person go. Chen Huanling was so angry that his teeth itched. In his opinion, Shen Zhenghao was definitely not a good person. Perhaps he had already found out that his daughter was having an affair with the White Fox. He did not want the Chen family to find out, so he ordered the White Fox to kill Chen Jinpeng and frame Chen Jinpeng for raping Shen Jingxian. This way, the Shen family would also become the victims. This was too shameless. I will now, in the name of the Chen family, post a mission on the Mission Commission platform of the Warrior Guild and offer a reward for killing this White Fox. In fact, Chen Huanling could have done it himself. However, in order to show the Chen family's status in Songning City, he would do whatever he wanted. Chapter 361. He wanted to use the platform of the Warrior Guild to issue a wanted order to let people know that there was no escape for those who offended the Chen family. Even if the Chen family couldn't find you, others could find you and kill you for the reward. Chen Huanling didn't hesitate. He directly used his Songning Warrior Guild's Vice President Chen Huanling account to issue a 10,000 points mission and at White Fox. Killing White Fox would give 10,000 points, which would be 10 million yuan. If he sold the points on the black market, it was hard to say if he could sell it for 15 million yuan. Moreover, Chen Huanling used his privilege to put the mission at the top and flashed red. Of course, the person who wanted to do the mission was limited to Songning City. After all, there were many experts in Songning City, so there was no need to find experts from other cities. If the experts from other cities came, the person would already be dead, which was equivalent to torturing them for nothing. Therefore, Chen Huanling set that only the users of the Warrior Guild's client who were active in the Songning area could see this message. The current client was also very rich. It could automatically call the location coordinates in the mobile phone, so it was accurate. This bounty mission was pushed to the mobile phones of all the martial artists in Songning City. Even Xiao Chen saw this message. Chen Huanling issued a wanted order for him? He actually issued 10,000 points. Was he crazy? Congratulations, White Fox. You're now a wanted man. How did you get into trouble with the Chen family? Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiao Chen with some ridicule. In fact, in her opinion, the Chen family was purely looking for trouble. With Xiao Chen's current strength, it was a matter of minutes to destroy the Chen family. As long as the sponsor died, the mission would automatically become invalid. Who knows? Xiao Chen also frowned. Logically speaking, Chen Jinpeng's death had nothing to do with him. Even if he killed Chen Jinkuan, it had been so long. Did the Chen family just find out? That was not realistic, right? Then what will you do? Although basically no one dares to do anything to you now, we can't rule out the possibility of other experts targeting you. Yi Xiaoya said, for example, those two elders. I'll go to the Chen family later and see what they're up to. To be honest, Xiao Chen didn't have a good impression of the Chen family. Putting aside the fact that Chen Jinkuan and Chen Jinpeng had been Chen Jingshuan's fiancé, Chen Jinpeng himself had harmed Xiao Chen several times. If there was anyone who could be forgiven, Chao Yuliang and Xiao Chen could be forgiven, but Chen Jinpeng could not be forgiven. No matter what, Chao Yuliang and Xiao Chen had always been enemies. If he compromised, Xiao Chen might still consider keeping him alive. However, Chen Jinpeng was different. He was Xiao Chen's former underling. Now that he had betrayed him and wanted to kill Xiao Chen, how could Xiao Chen keep him alive? Originally, this matter had little to do with Chen Huanling and Chen Wuxian, so Xiao Chen did not intend to continue to do anything to the Chen family. Now that they dared to issue a wanted order, they would have to bear the wrath of Xiao Chen at any time. This mission request was also received by the others present, but their expressions were very strange. Was the Chen family courting death? The White Fox had just shocked Songning. It could be said that in this Songning righteous demonic summit, except for Yu Danding, who might have a chance to fight him, anyone else would die. At this time, the Chen family issued such a stupid mission. Were they courting death or were they trying to kill others? Shen Zhenghao also saw the mission request. He was a little puzzled. What was wrong with the Chen family? Therefore, he directly took out his phone and dialed Chen Huanling's number. Shen Zhenghao? Why are you calling me? Chen Huanling said indifferently. He did not owe Shen Zhenghao. On the contrary, if Shen Zhenghao was involved in this matter, then Shen Zhenghao would owe him. Chen Huanling, are you crazy? Why are you issuing a wanted order for the White Fox? Shen Zhenghao asked unceremoniously. What's wrong? Are you afraid? Shen Zhenghao, don't tell me you don't know that Chen Jinpeng is innocent. You know what's going on. Chen Huanling said coldly, I'm not targeting you now because the Chen family can't afford to offend the Shen family. However, the White Fox is different. I will kill him to vent my anger. Alright, if we don't get along, I don't have anything to say to you. Chen Huanling, I just want to remind you that if you don't court death, you won't die. If you insist on putting up a bounty, then put up a bounty. After Shen Zhenghao finished speaking, he ignored him. From his point of view, the Chen family was completely courting death. It would be strange if the White Fox could endure it. He would probably go to the Chen family soon. Today's summit was coming to an end. This mission had been ignored. Even if the two elders saw it, even if Elder Wang was from a prestigious sect, he did not think of killing the White Fox. After all, the White Fox was a challenger of the summit. He was the organizing elder of the summit. Killing a challenger of his own summit would be suicidal. Did he still want to stay in this world? As for the other challengers, none of them dared to kill the White Fox. They only treated the wanted order as a joke. You want to go to the Chen family? Yi Xiaoya asked when she saw that Xiao Chen was the first to leave after the summit ended. Yes, I'm going to see what's going on. Xiaochen also wanted to know what the Chen family was up to. Why would they issue a wanted order for him? The challengers around him stepped aside to let Xiaochen leave first. This was an invisible deterrent. In the past, only Leng Youxiang and Yu Danding had received such treatment. Now, Leng Youxiang's treatment had become Xiaochen's. The others only dared to leave after Xiaochen and Yi Xiaoya left. This was the deterrent effect of fame. The White Fox's name would soon spread to the major sections. However, no one knew his background. The more this was the case, the less the sects would dare to act rashly. Who knew what kind of backer or power this person had? The unknown was the most intimidating. It seemed that the White Fox was from the Demonic Star sect, but since when did the Demonic Star sect have such a powerful younger generation? Didn't the Demonic Star sect claim that Yi Bia was the most outstanding disciple? Could there be other hidden disciples? Of course, it was not a secret that there were one or a few hidden outstanding disciples in these sections. Generally, outstanding disciples would attract the jealousy of other sections. The tallest tree in the forest would be destroyed by the wind. Therefore, in addition to the outstanding disciples on the surface, there would usually be one or two outstanding disciples hidden. Of course, if there was one, it would be like this. If something happened to the outstanding disciple on the surface, they would cultivate a second outstanding disciple. This was actually the same as those big families. Li Shanning was also outstanding, but the family had been cultivating Li Shanpao, whose aptitude was not as good as his. Therefore, it made sense that the White Fox was the hidden outstanding disciple of the Demonic Star sect. However, the key question was, since he was hidden, why did he show up with Yi Bia? Moreover, the Demonic Star sect was not big. How could they cultivate a demonic cultivator with stage 8 inner force? This was simply an existence that could become the future leader of the Demonic Star sect. Therefore, there were many speculations about the White Fox's background. It seemed to be reasonable, but there was no actual evidence. "Should I go with you?" asked Yi Xiaoya. "There's no need for that, right? If you go with me, wouldn't it be bullying?" Xiaochen smiled bitterly. "Moreover, I still have to trouble you." "Yes, it's bullying," Yi Xiaoya said. "You helped me get rid of Leng Youxiang. Why can't I help you cheer?" It could be seen that Yi Xiaoya was a very loyal person. She insisted on going with Xiaochen. Therefore, Xiaochen did not insist. He nodded and said, "Okay, let's go and have a look." This was the second time that Xiaochen had visited the Chen family. The last time was to help Jean Bebe find a car. Although it had only been a month, his mood was completely different. At that time, Xiaochen was a little afraid of the Chen family. But now, Xiaochen kicked the door of the Chen family. The steel door was directly broken into pieces by Xiaochen's kick. The pieces flew everywhere and made a loud bang. Who dares to behave atrociously in front of the Chen family?
A few disciples of the Chen family who were patrolling hurriedly gathered around when they heard the noise. However, they did not dare to approach. After all, the door could not be broken by just anyone. Based on the thickness of the door, the person in front of them must be at least a 5th stage internal force expert. Otherwise, he would not have been able to break the door and cause such a huge impact. "Get Chen Wuxian and Chen Huanling to come out and see me," Xiaochen said calmly. "My time is limited. I will give you 1 minute. If you don't come out, you will bear the consequences. I think you must have a death wish." At this time, a disciple who seemed to be the leader of the group hurried over. This person had the strength of a 6th stage internal force expert, so he was usually very arrogant and condescending. On top of that, he was the vice president of the Songning Martial Arts Guild and a guard of the Chen family. Naturally, he was extremely arrogant and felt that he was superior to others. He looked at Xiaochen with disdain and shouted coldly. Xiaochen was speechless when he saw that the person in front of him was neither Chen Wuxian nor Chen Huanling. He did not want to waste his breath. He lifted his leg and kicked the disciple in the chest, sending him flying. The disciple felt a pain in his chest. He spat out a mouthful of blood and flew backward like a rocket being fired. He fell to the ground with a whoosh and fainted. The commotion at the courtyard entrance was so loud that Chen Wuxian and Chen Huanling heard it. They rushed over to see what was going on and saw Xiao Chun send the disciple flying with a kick. White fox. Chen Huanling immediately recognized the white fox in the photo. Chen Huanling, right? Didn't you want to put a bounty on my head? I'm here now. Xiao Chun looked at the person and said calmly, I'm very confused. How did I offend the Chen family? You actually put a bounty on my head for 10,000 points. Or do you have so many points that you have nowhere to spend them?
Chapter 362. Humph, you know what you've done. Chen Huanling's eyes turned bloodshot at the sight of the white fox. This was Chen Jinpeng's murderer, so there was no way he was going to let it go so easily. Since you've delivered yourself to my doorstep, I'll save my points. Die. You're crazy. Xiao Chen was speechless. He just wanted to ask how he had offended the Chen family. Logically speaking, even if Chen Jinkuan's death was suspected, Xiao Chen should be the suspect, not White Fox. As for Chen Jinpeng, it had nothing to do with him. He wasn't the one who killed Chen Jinpeng. How could the Chen family deny it? However, Chen Huanling charged at him. Of course, Xiao Chen wouldn't let him hit him. Xiao Chen didn't care about a stage 7 internal force martial artist. He slapped Chen Huanling so hard that he spun on the ground. Xiao Chen ignored him. He looked at War God Chen and said, War God Chen, is there something wrong with the Chen family? I think you're trying to wipe out the entire family, right? Don't you know that I, White Fox, specialize in wiping out families? Haven't you heard how the Sun family died? You're a stage 8 internal force martial artist. War God Chen looked at White Fox in surprise. He didn't expect White Fox to be so powerful. He also didn't expect White Fox to be related to the deaths of the Sun family members. He suppressed his anger and said, You and Shen Zhenghao's daughter had an affair, killed my grandson Jinpeng, and framed him. Do you think the Chen family is a pushover? Let me tell you, I'm a stage 8 internal force martial artist. Don't think I'm afraid of you. If you don't give me an explanation, don't walk out of here today. First, I didn't kill Chen Jinpeng. It doesn't matter if you believe me or not. I'm not lying to you. Xiao Chen said indifferently. Second, it's easy for me to kill your whole family. Don't try to scare me with the peak of inner force stage 8. I just killed a martial artist at the peak of inner force stage 8. You didn't kill him? How dare you say you didn't kill him? Martial God Chen sneered. You just killed a martial artist at the peak of stage 8 inner force? You're really shameless when you lie. How many martial artists in the whole of Songning City are above stage 8 inner force? Who did you beat to death? Tell me about it. But you don't have the chance anymore. Die. With that, Chen Wuxian didn't waste any more words with Xiao Chen. He had been on the verge of going crazy recently. The Chen family had no successor. At this moment, he saw the murderer of Chen Jinpeng. How could he remain calm? He opened and closed his hands. His whole body spun on the ground like a spinning top. His hands were spread out horizontally like two sickles. They spun back and forth, bringing with them a gust of wind, and attacked Xiao Chen. If this move had been seen by the previous Xiao Chen, it would have been quite powerful and shocking. However, compared to the previous Leng Youxiang, Martial God Chen's level and power were too low. Martial God Chen's peak of stage 8 inner force was on a completely different level from Leng Youxiang's peak of stage 8 inner force. Their martial arts skills were also far inferior. Martial god Chen's move was at most pleasing to the eyes and could only intimidate the martial artists from the Songning families. As for Xiao Chen, he was now a devil cultivator with rich combat experience. Although Xiao Chen didn't have much time on the stage in this summit, he had learned a lot of combat experience from the battles of others. It was easy for him to crack martial god Chen's move. When martial god Chen came over, Xiao Chen bent down and gave him a sweeping kick. Martial god Chen almost tripped and fell to the ground. Xiao Chen didn't give him any time to catch his breath. He went forward and gave martial god Chen a kick, sending him sprawling on the ground. White Fox hero! Show mercy! A loud shout came from the door. A middle-aged man hurried into the Chen family's courtyard. Xiao Chen had some impression of this man. He was the president of the Songning Martial Artist Guild, Chu Zhengbian. However, Xiao Chen had never interacted with him. When the Xiao family was at its peak, the Xiao family had invited him to a banquet. However, this man had a proud expression during the banquet. His grandfather, Xiao Yuanshan, had been very respectful to him. Later on, when the Xiao family had declined, this man had never appeared in the Xiao family again. Of course, Xiao Chen was still young back then, and he didn't have much to say. Chu Zhengbian probably didn't have any impression of Xiao Chen at all. President Chu? What's the matter? Xiao Chen turned around and looked at Chu Zhengbian as he asked calmly. Although it was normal for Chu Zhengbian to not come over now that the Xiao clan had declined, Xiao Chen didn't have a good impression of him. Naturally, he wasn't warm to him. Although Chu Zhengbian's strength was higher than Xiao Chen's, he didn't dare show up because of Xiao Chen's demonic star sect background. Moreover, he was here to persuade Xiao Chen, not to go against Xiao Chen. Therefore, he said politely, "White Fox hero, I think this is a misunderstanding. I'm afraid the Chen family has made a mistake in ordering you to be wanted. I have already cancelled the mission. Can you allow me to speak to Chen Huanling alone?" "Sure, go ahead." Xiao Chen nodded to show respect to Chu Zhengbian. Thank you so much, White Fox hero. Please wait a moment." Chu Zhengbian quickly pulled Chen Wuxian and Chen Huanling up from the ground and walked away. He had rushed here in a hurry. He had a good relationship with Chen Huanling, so he was shocked when he saw Chen Huanling issue such a mission. Was he courting death? He knew very well what kind of person White Fox was. He had killed Leng Youxiang, who was at the peak of Stage 8 internal force, at the Songning Righteous Devil Summit. What more could Chen Huanling and Chen Wuxian do? Although Chu Zhengbian was stronger than White Fox, as the president of the local warrior guild, he couldn't avenge others or help them. If he did, he would be called back by the headquarters for a lecture. He rushed here to see if there was a misunderstanding. Otherwise, with White Fox hero's personality, he might really destroy the Chen family. Chen Huanling and Chen Wuxian were scared out of their wits. They finally understood White Fox's strength. Although his strength was similar to Chen Wuxian's, it was a piece of cake for him to beat him. If Chen Wuxian used the martial god slash, it would be difficult for him to even get close to White Fox, let alone kick him. Even if he wasn't killed by White Fox's arms, the strong wind around him was enough to send him flying. However, nothing happened to White Fox. It was obvious that he was very strong. "I say, old Chen, are you crazy? Do you know who the White Fox is? How dare you issue a mission to him? Does the Chen family not want to live anymore?" Chu Zhengbian roared in exasperation, "What's going on? Tell me." "President Chu, White Fox is the murderer of Chen Jinpeng. You still won't admit it." Chen Huanling angrily told Chu Zhengbian what had happened. With Chu Zhengbian's status, there was no way he could hide it. Chu Zhengbian was speechless. Chu Zhengbian was speechless when he heard that. He said, "If White Fox really did it, I don't think he will deny it. He has already killed 2 people today. He doesn't care what others say about him. Since he said he didn't do it, then he didn't do it." Besides, this isn't any evidence. It's all speculation. It might not be White Fox's doing. What do you mean? Did he kill 2 people today? Who did he kill? Chen Huanling was shocked. He felt that there was something he didn't know. However, it was obvious that Chu Zhengbian already knew. Otherwise, he wouldn't have appeared here out of nowhere and stopped the fight. Isn't this the Songning Righteous and Demonic Summit? Chu Zhengbian smiled bitterly. He told Chen Huanling and Chen Wuxian everything that had happened at the summit. The two were dumbfounded. Li Shanying, a Stage 7 Inner Force martial artist, was killed. Leng Youxiang, a demonic cultivator at the peak of Stage 8 Inner Force martial artist, was killed. And under the watchful eyes of so many people? Then there was no need for him to deny that he killed Chen Jinpeng. Either one of the 2 dead people had a much bigger background than the Chen family. Chen Huanling thought that White Fox refused to admit it because he was afraid of the Chen family's warrior guild background. However, the Li family's warrior guild background was not much bigger than the Chen family's. Leng Youxiang's demonic sect background was even scarier. Could it be that he was wrong? White Fox didn't kill Chen Jinpeng, but someone else. This. Chen Wuxian was also in a difficult position. He had offended White Fox. The Chen family didn't understand the situation and was provoked by someone who targeted White Fox. Now that he thought about it, it was full of doubts. Why would someone send an email to the Chen family? What was this person's motive and purpose? Chen Wuxian nodded and said, "Chairman Chu, you're right. We were too impulsive. I'll apologize to Arctic Fox now, that's right. I'll let the Warrior Guild investigate the cause of Chen Jinpeng's death. They will definitely find out the truth and the murderer. However, I don't think it was White Fox." Chu Zhengbian said with a sigh of relief. Originally, he had no intention of interfering with the Chen family's matter. After all, it was a private matter and a scandal. It was not appropriate for the Warrior Guild to intervene. What would outsiders think if they intervened? However, because of White Fox, Chu Zhengbian had no choice but to intervene. Otherwise, White Fox would definitely not agree to it. How could they accuse him? You have to take out evidence to prove his innocence. Ah, thank you for your help, President Chu. If we find out who the murderer is, we must punish him severely. Chen Huanling also regained his composure and nodded. That's right. Look at things rationally. The email you received was probably someone who couldn't beat White Fox, but he wanted to take revenge. Then, he used you to deal with him. Chu Zhengbian said, "There's something strange about this. You're also confused because you're closely involved." That's right. Now that I think about it, there's indeed something fishy. Chen Huanling nodded. That's true. According to what you said, there was no need for him to kill Chen Jinpeng. He could have just told the Chen family and we would have cancelled the engagement. Who would dare to go against someone from such a sect? Chapter 363. Alright, just apologize to him, and this matter will be over. I'll help you investigate again, okay? Chu Zhengbian heaved a sigh of relief. Okay. Chen Huanling thought it through and quickly walked to Xiao Chen with Warlord Chen. He said, "White Fox Hero, I'm sorry, we made a mistake. I'm really sorry, I hope you can forgive us. We were also instigated by others and mistakenly thought that you were the murderer of Chen Jinpeng. Alright, forget it then." Xiao Chen waved his hand. Chu Zhengbian was here, and he knew that it was not good to continue making trouble. Anyway, the Chen family had ceased all activities, and his reputation as the White Fox would probably be known throughout Songning City by tomorrow. "White Fox Hero, let me send you off," Chen Huanling said. "No need." Xiao Chen said, "It's getting late, I'll go back and rest." Since there was nothing else, Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoye went back. They took a taxi, and Xiao Chen did not drive as it was more conspicuous. "Oh right, I have something to do tomorrow morning. Is it okay for you to stay at the Zheng family's martial arts school?" Xiao Chen asked. "Accompany your girlfriend?" "Of course, no problem." Yi Xiaoye nodded and said. "Well, call me anytime if there's anything." Xiao Chen was vague. In fact, he was going to accompany Cheng Menjing and Lu Xinming to have fun. He did not know what Lu Xinming was going to do this time. Perhaps he would not be able to go back today. Xiao Chen could only send a text message to Missy, telling her that he had something to discuss with Zhu Yingxiong. Zhu Yingxiong had a girlfriend and fiancé, and he would go and take a look. He would return to the villa early the next morning, and then go out with Lu Xinming and the others. Since Cheng Menjing was accompanied by Shen Jingxian, she naturally paid more attention to Xiao Chen. She replied with a "good" and then ignored him. When they returned to their residence, no one dared to look Xiao Chen in the eye as they walked through the Zheng family martial arts dojo. When they saw him and Yi Xiaoye walking over, they all moved to the side. This kind of ruthless person who had consecutively killed 2 high-level martial artists was the nightmare of these challengers. No one wanted to look for trouble with him. What's more, they could challenge anyone in the dojo at any time. If Xiao Chen wanted to challenge them, they would be forced to admit defeat and lose points. On the way back to the room, Yi Xiaoye suddenly thought of something. "By the way, do you still have my scorching devil energy in your body?" "There are still a lot." Xiao Chen couldn't help but smile bitterly after listening. "Yesterday, you almost gave me an explosion." Why don't you give it all back to me?" "Fortunately, I didn't have to go on stage to fight today. Otherwise, my stamina and devil energy might not be enough," Yi Xiaoye said. Today's battles were very intense, so Yi Xiaoye didn't have any confidence in winning. Her strength was only at the 5th level. Unless she encountered an opponent of the lowest level, otherwise, she had no chance of winning. Especially since her stamina and devil energy had been consumed by Xiao Chen a lot. Until today, she still hadn't recovered. "Give it to you?" Xiao Chen thought about it. It should be possible, but this process was more troublesome. He had to use his own primordial qi to push Yi Xiaoye's scorching devil energy back into Yi Xiaoye's body. Otherwise, Xiao Chen wouldn't be able to use his own cultivation method to drive the remaining scorching devil energy in his body. And after the scorching devil energy entered Yi Xiaoye's body, he would take back his primordial qi. This cycle should be possible. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen said, "I can give it a try." Now that Leng Youxiang was dead, there was no use for Xiao Chen to have the scorching devil energy. It was better to return it to Yi Xiaoye than to keep it in his body. "Then, what do I need to do now?" asked Yi Xiaoye. "In a while, I will mix my demonic energy with your demonic energy and inject it into your body. Then, you will try to use the mantra to guide it and then transfer it back to me. If this cycle continues, you should be able to guide your demonic energy back," Xiao Chen said. "All right." Yi Xiaoye nodded and sat cross-legged on the bed. She said, "Then let's begin." Xiao Chen did not delay. He directly sat in front of Yi Xiaoye and placed his hands against Yi Xiaoye's hands. Then, he circulated his cultivation method and used his primordial qi to guide and push the remaining scorching devil energy in his body from his left hand to Yi Xiaoye's right hand. As for Yi Xiaoye, she hurriedly circulated her cultivation method and allowed the 2 mixed devil energy to circulate in her body. Indeed, the scorching devil energy in the 2 devil energies merged with her own devil energy and began to circulate in her body's meridians. Then, Yi Xiaoye pushed Xiao Chen's devil energy from her left hand to Xiao Chen's right hand. However, what surprised her was that when she pushed it out, she could not only push Xiao Chen's devil energy. She had to use her own devil energy to push and guide it. In this way, the 2 devil energies returned to Xiao Chen's body. The 2 people's situation was the same. They had to use their own devil energy to push the devil energy that did not belong to them. Otherwise, they would not be able to drive it alone. This was a very troublesome problem. Xiaochen also circulated it in his body and then pushed it to Yi Xiaoya. The two of them began to go back and forth several times, but they were unable to separate each other's devil energy. Yi Xiaoya was a little depressed. This was not a problem. If this continued, wouldn't it be useless? However, the next situation made Yi Xiaoya a little surprised. Because after going back and forth a few times, Yi Xiaoya suddenly found that she was actually showing signs of a breakthrough. After she broke through to the 5th level of inner force, she had not stopped. She had been practicing hard every day, but she was still a short distance away from the peak of the 5th level of inner force. However, she did not expect that after circulating the true qi with Xiaochen, she seemed to be about to break through. It seemed that circulating the true qi back and forth in two people's bodies was more effective than circulating the true qi in one person's body, and it was faster. While Yi Xiaoya found the problem, Xiaochen also found some problems. The true qi that Yi Xiaoya circulated over seemed to be a little different from before. His strength was also slightly improved. In the past, if there was no spiritual jade and medicinal herbs to assist him, there would be no effect at all if he cultivated directly like this. But now, Xiaochen found that the speed of his cultivation was almost the same as after he took the elixir. What is this situation? Is this the legendary dual cultivation? Xiaochen was a little surprised. Elder Heaven Ancestor, have you found the problem? Xiaochen asked. Yes, I'm studying it. Elder Heaven Ancestor's voice sounded in Xiaochen's ear. It seems that this girl's mental cultivation method, or physique, is somewhat similar and consistent with your body in some aspects. So when you circulate the mental cultivation method together, the true qi will circulate in your body and her body at the same time, which has the effect of twice the result with half the effort. It even has a stronger effect on breaking through the barrier. It's really a little strange. Obviously, your mental cultivation method is different, and it is not a dual cultivation method, but you can cultivate together. Did your parents practice the fire element devil cultivation? How could it be possible? Xiaochen thought of his missing father and his mother, who he had not seen since he was a child. He felt a little sad. Songning Xiao family is a martial cultivation family. I used to be a good-for-nothing, so how could I cultivate? However, I have practiced her dark flame palm. Could it be because of this? It's possible. But that's not right. That's a martial art. What does it have to do with mental cultivation method? Elder Heaven Ancestor was a little puzzled. Don't ask me if you don't know. In short, it's a good thing to improve my strength. Who cares why? I'm not a curious baby. Xiaochen said. That's true. Maybe it's because you are a cultivator, so you're awesome. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Pfft, you're flattering yourself. Xiaochen was a little speechless, but in any case, this situation was good. Since it could improve his strength, there was no harm. Why would Xiaochen not do it? Originally, Xiaochen was calmly practicing the mantra of the primary circulation method. He slightly increased the speed because Xiaochen wanted to cultivate faster. Previously, he only helped Yi Xiaoya guide the devil qi, so there was no need to circulate it too fast. On the other side, Yi Xiaoya clearly felt that Xiaochen's speed of the mantra of the primary circulation method had increased, and her cultivation speed had also increased. She could not help but feel a little excited. Soon, she would touch the barrier of the peak of the 5th level. Faster. White Fox, faster. Yi Xiaoya's little face was red because of excitement. She was about to touch the barrier, and she could not help but shout. Xiaochen was shocked. Can you not be so tempting? Faster, faster, faster. Yi Xiaoya saw that Xiaochen did not move, and could not help but urge. Okay. Xiao Chen took a deep breath and accelerated the circulation of the mantra of the primary circulation method. The majestic Yuan Qi, along with Yi Xiaoya's hot devil Qi, poured into Yi Xiaoya's dantian, and then flowed through the meridians of her body. Yi Xiaoya could not help but let out a comfortable moan. She finally touched the barrier of leveling up. There was no need to mention how happy she was in her heart. She did not expect that she could actually level up like this. Although Yi Xiaoya felt a little strange, since she could level up, she would level up first. Can you go faster? Yi Xiaoya said anxiously. If I go faster, I'm afraid you can't take it. After all, Xiao Chen was now a cultivator at the 7th level of the refinement stage. His strength was equivalent to the 8th level or even the peak of the 8th level. If he circulated the mantra of the primary circulation method at full speed, he was afraid that Yi Xiaoya would explode. I can take it, hurry up. Yi Xiaoya urged. Okay. However, not long after Xiao Chen increased his speed, he saw that Yi Xiaoya's little face was getting redder and redder, and her body began to emit white steam. Was this the rhythm of a fire? In the end, the next moment, Xiao Chen almost peed in his pants because the clothes on Yi Xiaoya's body suddenly caught fire. Xiao Chen was shocked and subconsciously stopped the circulation of the mantra of the primary circulation method, but Yi Xiaoya was anxious. Don't stop, white fox. Xiao Chen had to continue to circulate, and then automatically filtered out the ambiguity in Yi Xiaoya's words. But then, the clothes on Yi Xiaoya's body turned into ashes piece by piece, and soon, she became naked. Chapter 364. Xiao Chen was shocked. He thought that it was indecent to look, but it should be okay to peek, right? If it weren't for the erotic moment when Yi Xiaoya helped him transfer the devil Qi yesterday, Xiao Chen would definitely close his eyes and not look. However, with the soft feeling on his back yesterday, Xiao Chen was a little reluctant to close his eyes. He thought, anyway, it was already like that yesterday. It should be okay to take a look, right? Yi Xiaoya stared at Xiao Chen and found that he was peeping at her. However, Yi Xiaoya couldn't do anything about it. She was on the verge of breaking through the barrier and had no time to care about these things. She could only desperately run the mantra. Shen Jingmao didn't have the habit of eavesdropping. However, he was appointed by his sister, Shen Jingxian, to come to the door of Xiao Chen's room to investigate what he and Yi Xiaoya were doing. As soon as he came to the door, he heard Yi Xiaoya's voice. This. Shen Jingmao's face was full of sweat. How could he tell his sister? To be honest, Shen Jingmao was very grateful to the white fox for treating him when he was injured. However, he couldn't disobey his sister. So, he could only take out his mobile phone, record these voices and conversations, then send it to his sister and quickly left. Xiao Chen was concentrating on his cultivation. It was impossible for him to use his divine sense to explore the situation outside. He didn't find Shen Jingmao coming. Moreover, Xiao Chen's attention was now on Yi Xiaoya. Boom! Yi Xiaoya was shocked. She had broken through and was already a devil cultivator at the peak of the 5th level of inner strength. After the breakthrough, Yi Xiaoya directly raised her foot and kicked Xiao Chen's face. However, at this moment, Xiao Chen saw something he shouldn't see. It was just that what he saw was not what he expected. Bang! Xiao Chen was kicked off the bed, and his mask almost flew off. Fortunately, Xiao Chen was quick to catch it. Otherwise, if Yi Xiaoya found out that he was Xiao Chen, it would be so embarrassing. This matter could only be discussed slowly. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly and did not get up from the ground. He only said from the ground, "You are a classic example of burning the bridge after crossing the river. You don't want me anymore after breaking through. What were you looking at just now?" Yi Xiaoya said angrily. "I didn't. You lifted your leg to show me." Xiao Chen said, feeling wronged. "What? Raise your leg? You saw that place too?" Yi Xiaoya became even angrier. She was anxious and didn't think too much before. She kicked Xiaochen down, but she didn't expect him to see even more. I didn't do it on purpose. Xiaochen broke into a sweat. He realized that what he and Yi Xiaoya said was not the same thing. Humph. Don't tell anyone. Just pretend that you didn't see it. Do you hear me? Yi Xiaoya scolded. Okay, said Xiaochen. Then you can get up. Yi Xiaoya had already covered herself with the quilt. Xiaochen got up from the ground, then glanced at Yi Xiaoya, and returned to his bed obediently. He said, I found that this kind of cultivation seems to be effective for me too. It's also effective for you? Yi Xiaoya was stunned. Are you going to break through too? I'm slower than you. It's not that obvious. Xiaochen shook his head. Firstly, he was a cultivator. His cultivation system was different from Yi Xiaoya's. Secondly, his level was also higher, so the time needed was different. Then, we can still cultivate together in the future. Yi Xiaoya said, anyway, there is something of yours in my body. Yi Xiaoya, don't force me, okay? Xiaochen finally couldn't help it. I'm a normal man. You can go faster and don't stop. You have something of mine in your body. Can you not be so seductive? Don't blame me if I push you. I. Yi Xiaoya's face turned red. When she said it before, she didn't feel anything, but after being reminded by Xiaochen, she thought about it carefully and found that there was a problem. It was full of ambiguity, but she was not willing to admit it. Humph, it's your thinking that is complicated. Filthy person. Ahem, anyway, if you do this in the future, don't blame me if you push me. Xiaochen reminded. Okay, I won't say it anymore. Yi Xiaoya nodded. This topic was a bit embarrassing. I'm hungry. Help me find something to eat. I can't go out like this. Okay. Xiaochen nodded, got up, and was about to go out. Wait. Yi Xiaoya stopped him. No, how do you know my name is Yi Xiaoya? Did you investigate me? Previously, Xiaochen called her Little Yi. She thought it was because her surname was Yi, so he called her Little Yi, but now it seemed that it was not the case. Xiaochen was stunned, and then realized that he was a little anxious before and accidentally spilled the beans, but it was easy to explain. Song Huawu said it. Oh, it's her. Yi Xiaoya nodded. That Song Huawu is a little biased against the demon gate. Don't always pay attention to her in the future. She is always afraid that we will go out and cause trouble. She follows us everywhere we go. It's really annoying. I think she's okay. Xiaochen said noncommittally. What's okay? If you want to continue training with me in the future, stay away from her, or you can go find her. Yi Xiaoya said. Okay. Xiaochen nodded, and thought to himself, how can I find Yi Xiaoya to train with me in the future? Should I sneak into Yi Xiaoya's room? That's a good idea, but, as time goes by, will I expose myself? Forget it, I'll take it one step at a time. Xiaochen now really experienced the benefits of strength. When did the useless trash in the past become so strong-willed? Now, seeing Warlord Chen and even the president of the warrior guild, Chu Zhengbian, being submissive to him, Xiaochen felt especially good. Now, if it wasn't for the fact that he didn't know who was behind Chao Yuliang, it wouldn't be a problem for him to restore his identity. However, now that he had restored his identity, he was afraid that the person behind him would either go into hiding or come looking for trouble. Although Xiaochen was arrogant enough in Songning City, what about outside of Songning City? Shaking his head, Xiaochen didn't think about this for now. Instead, he went out of the room and went shopping. Unexpectedly, at the gate of the Zheng family, Xiaochen saw a few acquaintances. Cheng Mengxian, Xiao Xiao, Yu Xiaochuan, Tang Tang, Yu Shanshan, and Zhu Yingxiong. Among them, only Zhu Yingxiong knew his true identity, but Zhu Yingxiong acted as if he didn't see it and was whispering to Yu Shanshan. Xiao Chen couldn't help but shake his head. It seemed that Zhu Yingxiong and Yu Shanshan had a good relationship. Then, how should he deal with the Yu family in the future? Ah, isn't this White Fox hero? When Yu Xiaochuan saw Xiao Chen, he immediately left Tang Tang behind and ran over happily. His face was full of excitement and admiration. White Fox hero, how are you? I'm Yu Xiaochuan. Do you remember that we've sent each other a private message on the Warrior Guild's app? Oh, I know you. Xiao Chen nodded. He was a little puzzled as to why Yu Xiaochuan was so enthusiastic. Could it be that he wanted him to kill Xiao Chen again? Huh, that's great. It's my honor to be remembered by White Fox hero. By the way, White Fox hero, what do you think of my fiancé? Yu Xiaochuan pointed to Tang Tang and asked attentively. Very good, very beautiful. Xiao Chen said inexplicably. He thought, what do you mean? Are you trying to show off to me? Does this guy know that I'm Xiao Chen? There's no reason for that. Huh, White Fox hero, you think she's beautiful too? Do you like her? Yu Xiaochuan asked in a low voice. Are you crazy? Can you sleep with me if I like her? Xiao Chen thought that Yu Xiaochuan was crazy. Yes. Yu Xiaochuan nodded and was a little excited. White Fox hero, you like my fiancé, right? Okay, I'll find a way to help you. Then I won't bother White Fox hero anymore. I'll go first. Xiao Chen looked at Yu Xiaochuan in shock. Not only did this guy change his sex, but he also seemed to have become stupid. What kind of train of thought was this? Cheng Mengqiang glanced at Xiao Chen. He didn't know White Fox, nor did he have any dealings with him. However, Xiao Xiao looked at White Fox up and down with some doubts. Finally, she shook her head gently and got into Cheng Mengqiang's car first. Cheng Mengqiang hesitated for a moment and came over to say hello to Xiao Chen. White Fox hero, nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you. I'm Cheng Mengqiang from the Cheng family in Songning. I hope we can get together in the future. Oh, Songning Cheng family, the head of the 4 big and 5 small families. I've heard of you. Xiao Chen reached out his hand. Seeing that White Fox hero took the initiative to shake hands with him, Cheng Mengqiang instantly felt honored. Yu Xiaochuan didn't receive such treatment before. It seemed that the title of the number 1 family in Songning was different. He quickly reached out his hand and shook hands with Xiao Chen. Thank you for your kindness. It's not kindness. It's all about strength. Xiao Chen smiled faintly and said, okay, is that your girlfriend? She's a pretty good girl. You guys go back. I still have something to do. Okay, okay. Cheng Mengqiang nodded and walked back to his car. However, Cheng Mengqiang sat in the driver's seat while Xiao Xiao sat in the back. This made Xiao Chen feel a little pain in his heart. It seemed that Xiao Xiao definitely didn't like Cheng Mengqiang, and he couldn't make the Xiao family stronger. He couldn't let Xiao Xiao marry the person she liked. At this moment, Xiao Chen secretly vowed in his heart that he would make the Xiao family go to glory again and cancel the marriage between Xiao Xiao and Cheng Mengqiang. Tang Tang watched Yu Xiaochuan fawn over White Fox. She felt disgusted. Yu Xiaochuan had become more and more inexplicable recently. His actions and words were strange. She didn't know what stimulated him, but Tang Tang was disgusted every day. Seeing that he finished speaking, she didn't say much and got into the car without saying a word. Zhu Yingxiong glanced at Xiao Chen and got into the car with Yu Shanshan. Before Yu Xiaochuan got into the car, he didn't forget to wave to Xiao Chen. White Fox hero, I'll go first. After that, he got into the car, started the car and left. Xiao Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.